wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. Wiki leaking, now your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. Wiki leaking, now your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich.
I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. Wiki leaking out your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth Rich.
You save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves. Happy Friday night. Welcome to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. Come celebrate your independence with us by hitting your bells and your thumbs up. And please reshare because we are throttled harder than a firework. So do make sure you tell your friends so they can come and have a good time and hang out with me and with Paranoid American and with Abbie and her new tits.
Blah blah.
So yeah, she's not as laid up as we thought she was gonna be. So she's hanging out with mild muscle relaxers and painkillers, which we don't judge. And Layla might need to lay up a little bit because she has to work at a long day tomorrow. So maybe she'll swing by and say hi to you guys in the chat. Hi, good guys.
Hello.
Lodge has started.
Lodge is in session.
Do you want to
You
read
know-
the minutes from last meeting?
I just got a quick black pill thing that I couldn't get out of my head today. And that's on this July 4th, which I guess is over now. We've never been less free. Like in my entire life, at least. My entire lifetime, today is the least free we've ever been. And it's going to probably be worse by next year and the year after that and the year after that. Am I alone in this?
No. I don't know. Don't you feel like we're less free in 2020 with like lockdown shit and everything and masks and?
Well, I guess from like an overall sense, no. Like an acute sense, yes, because they were actually flexing those muscles. But I feel like the muscles are still there. They're just not flexing them right now. They're bulking. Like this is their bulking phase. They're not on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as they're on stage again, they're gonna flex those muscles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like UFC in the White House lawn next 4th of July. If that's not a sign of the secret society of good guys, I do not know what is. Like, that's wild to me. I feel like I'm manifesting it and we're still in my fever dream and I'm just laying on like an opioid bag in a hospital that's been cleared out and abandoned for like 6 years because the zombies have taken over, but they don't smell me for whatever reason. They don't want my blood. Same as the mosquitoes. And so
It's the
they don't-
iodine. You got to put iodine on your skin.
I'm probably covered in iodine, passed out somewhere, but in my fever dream, we get to go to the White House lawn and watch a UFC fight and a fireworks show. And then, I don't know, maybe there'll be like Bigfoot at this. Like, I picture like not a Yeti, like the 1990s truck with the big wheels. Like, I'm like, let's go full like Hulk Hogan, like Eagles. Like, I'm here.
Sounds
So,
exciting.
Yeah, I know where I'm going to be this time next year. I'm going to lean in. I like LARPing. It is such a fun time. You
It
They
is
should
fun.
do it on.
decide.
They should do it on Jan 6th, just to like I don't know, just
It's
have
too
fun
cold.
with it.
It's too cold. It's like this
It
time of
is.
year in DC is like kind of chef's kiss. And yeah, I do think that, look at Riggs. This is the funniest thing ever because they've been talking about like, oh, what emoji could you use in the chat for tits?
What's in
What's
the
the
middle?
thing in the middle?
An eggplant.
Okay.
Oh, are you trying to give me a pearl necklace or what?
Super
Good thing you
chats
share
only.
this with your teacher friends, Abbie. So say hi if you're one of Abby's coworkers and are just joining us tonight.
Cheers.
One of the comments on our last episode, the person was like, they had sexually harassed Layla almost the whole entire show, and then he left a comment, or he or she, that person left a comment on last episode, and I said, you know, the only one who's allowed to sexually harass us is Riggs. Everyone else is just creepy.
That position's been filled already.
It's filled.
We already have that person in our secret society that it's really his job to come up with the most, like, he sets the bar.
He's allowed to troll and he's allowed to sexually harass.
Yeah. I even have to tell that if I go on some podcast and they're like, do you want to share this to your page? I'm like, I will, but don't block any of my, like, leave my audience alone.
I think
Yeah.
Riggs is the only one that's ever been banned off my channel when I made one of my friends a mod, and within like an hour he was gone, and it took me forever to figure out how to unban someone.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I know, it's the funniest jokes. It's the funniest jokes. I know where everybody's like, oh, it's idiocracy. Would you prefer it like Shakespearean? Like, what is this ideal place that we were headed before the New World Order? Like I'm kind of like I just don't care as fucking
Armageddon?
much. Like
I
I'm
don't know.
just like, are you magic? Can you manifest? Do you believe in God? Do your prayers work? Or is it just doom and gloom all the time? And not that the idiocracy thing is necessarily doom and gloom, but I just like the amount everybody pretends to care. And then immediately tomorrow, when there's a new thing, the amount they pretend to care about that. And I just see all of social media and everybody and all their platforms. Oh, let me run a space on this, you guys. I care so much about this thing. I'm so righteous. And then I like with whatever thing you're righteous and you care about, you're like, I'm leading the charge. I'm trying to save the penguins, you guys. I'm trying to save the penguins. I have to come into your area and be like, why are you trying to save the penguins? What about the polar bears? Like, somewhere I have to make a teeter-totter out of a thing that was just a stump. Like, you don't have to put something on the other end of it. It doesn't matter what you talk about. And then people will say, oh my gosh, well, like the idea, well, have you been to Israel? Maybe you don't need to say so in Israel. And I'm like, have you been out of Texas? Have you been out of Texas? Like,
Right?
the same thing exists. Like, how many of you have been to each other's state to even have a say so about that state? And so much of this exists where people are just looshing themselves and they're scared of fucking everything. They're online. Well, I can't be that bad if you had time to post about it. This is the worst apocalypse ever. Anyway, that's
Kinda
my
is,
energy
'cause it ain't
today.
even really happening.
So
I feel like
like
my version of that optimism is just my utter faith in how incompetent the government gets, or how anything gets, the bigger and bigger it gets. So if we were dealing with a whole bunch of laser focused, small little like specific factions we could talk about, that to me is more scary than just complaining about the government in general. But I definitely do not feel the same optimism usually when it comes to like where government's headed and where people are headed in terms of how much they give over to the government.
real thing. Abbie, if you're going to play in the chat all night, are you going to hang out with me and Thomas?
I'm gonna hang out with you guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is Abbie in the chat?
Sometimes.
Yeah, she's looking down, not paying attention at all to what we're saying.
Whoops.
So what do you think of
Busted.
that?
Give your phone to the teacher.
Give your phone, hand it over.
Put it in the basket.
It would be so rad if a hand.
We're not even allowed to have them at work, or like kids aren't even allowed to have them at school in my district anymore. I think it's an Oklahoma law.
This is a real thing, though, for real. Look how much they want us to be scared of nuclear weapons. Who has them? Who's allowed to have them? Whatever. When on this show and all the other shows I talk about, we're talking about like painting your roofs blue or a blue tarp, or 9/11 was brought down with a laser. Who gives a fuck about a nuclear weapon? Like, what world are we in?
Really?
That both
I
these
know.
things exist at the same time. How is the fear of this thing here and this thing? Oh, we're not supposed to know about lasers yet. They're going to sell us that fear later on.
Though, yeah, that's been happening.
I think you can be afraid of two things at once, or multiple things at once. I don't think it's a zero-sum game in the world of.
But don't you
all the
think
things that can kill us.
a laser that you could like that would be so much easier to develop than sitting there and enriching uranium and stuff? And
That's what I mean. Don't you think
Yeah.
making a magnifying glass and a drone would be so much easier than like everything about every movie?
how hard
we've
is that
ever seen?
technology?
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
I just feel like they pretend this enriching uranium thing is the end all be all of every weapon, when I'm like, there's other weaponry. We all know there is, but why is it that the TV lets us pretend to have a fear of this nuclear?
Well, I think part of that answer is that nuclear is less discriminate. Like wherever that goes off, it's just wiping out untold amount of people in like a huge radius. If we're talking lasers and dews and drones, that's kind of surgical in comparison. And there's two different, like there's a surgical military operation where you feel like they're going after something very specific, and even if they miss, it'll be collateral damage within a small little window. But if they're just straight up talking about dropping like a nuke somewhere, then it's like they don't care who they hit. They're just looking to make a huge statement, and usually it's either an escalation where something bigger is going to happen after that, or it's supposed to be the end of something, which is where the U.S. claims they're bomb dropping it. That was kind of like to make this huge impression to just say, hey, like, we'll keep getting worse from here, and it was already worse than anyone had seen. So I mean, it's ironic too that like we're the only ones that have really done anything with them. If you want to believe in what those are, what they were, like the U.S. is the one that's flexed that muscle. No one else has really flexed that muscle the same way that we have.
I almost feel like the moon landing, we just got good at movies. We got good at movie magic. So the entirety of the nuke or the moon landing or every way that you would show somebody prowess, we started doing it with TV. The same way that China started to build invisible cities, fake cities, like we have the biggest population on the planet, be scared. Like we were like, oh, look at it, we can shoot something to the moon. That means we can get it to you. I just think everything is such a movie trick. Everything.
Yeah.
Like the more I look into it, the more this stuff starts to happen, the more I watch these things play out, that it's just like, this is
It's
fucking
not real.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And how
It's just a
upset
script.
people get about it. Like upset. And then someone will be so upset. And then there'll be a thing at the bottom that's like, this is a picture from like 1982 Beirut. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like the things that people, they'll even have an image that has nothing to do with the thing. You can put, I call it the algorithm of the inconvenient truth. If we took that exact same video and just made Al Gore's computerized gay voice say, this polar bear is a little out of breath because he just won the Polar Bear Olympics. It would have just sold a whole different tale and nobody would have been sad. But because they were like, we swear, these icebergs are melting. They could have been, we could redo it. I could be like, this is how happy a polar bear is, playing in a field of newly developing icebergs. And then it would have changed the whole entire feeling of the whole entire movie. But because of this bullshit narration, they just tell you this tale, and that's how I feel like everything's done to us. This bullshit narration on top of a bloody arm. Oh my gosh, I'm so irritated because I watched that 7/7 documentary yesterday.
Oh, I just had Little Mermaid songs. Like, I had a Nimrod moment.
What
A
one, Sam?
Nimrod moment where you went and
Oh.
just started hunting animals.
No, it's where the song pops in your head and you almost have to sing it. And it, like,
Why
yeah.
is that a Nimrod
I
moment?
thought she was about to destroy her whole house.
Well, it sounded like bombs were going off all night.
I know, but
loud
what
here.
song was it?
I'll tell you a tale of the bottomless sea and its heave to the starboard heave. Something like that. It's the beginning of The Little Mermaid.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of a boring song too.
It is, but it pops into my head
I was
for
so
whatever reason
excited
because
for
you
it.
said something.
I was like, ooh, Nimrod's visiting. What song did he drop off?
I don't know.
One of Summer's magic, if like she ever is, it could just be for any reason. It's not just when she's bored in conversation. It could just be her squirrel attention span. It's like if you say a line of something and it makes her think of a song, she'll just interrupt whatever anyone's saying, however many people are in the room, and sing the song. And so then she'll be like, oof, I'm sorry, Nimrod made me do it. So now it's been enough years that anytime any of us just sing a song or get an earworm, we say, Nimrod made me do it. And now our audience can all say that too. And you guys are all second degree in our secret society now.
There you go.
But why Nimrod of all the people?
There's too many reasons to tell you why.
Yeah.
She thinks everything's a lie, okay? Every single thing in history is inverted and it's all a lie. And so if we think certain things are bad things, she's not going to believe that somebody tells her Nimrod's the worst thing in the world. Because why? So it's
Why?
It was funny you were talking about like Al Gore and penguins and saving penguins. They just recently was watching this documentary on Antarctica because I was just I'm trying to figure out like what's the best Antarctica documentary. The one that I saw was not it, but it was kind of wild because this guy records himself and all of his own footage for a year. He stays on McMorn base for a full year, and he goes out and he's like hanging with the penguins, and you see some of those shots, but then he turns the camera around, and there's two main things that most of the time when they're doing those sad videos about the penguins and Save the Penguins, they don't cover these two things. One is that in the summer, they find like hundreds of thousands of just dead penguin carcasses just littering the entire countryside, just from having frozen by going too much inland, getting like attacked by just natural reasons. But hundreds of thousands of them are just dying in the sun, and the ones that do survive turn the entire outdoors into an open sewer system, where the other hundreds of thousands of them are basically just shitting and pissing in these like huge pools that you can smell from miles away. So
Gross.
though I know it is gross, and those are two things that you don't really ever see mentioned when they're like, save the penguins, look at these cute
Like, oh,
penguins.
penguins are so cute. Yeah.
It was the same thing where they had the baby seals, and I guess if you work in Antarctica, you are not allowed to interfere with nature. So if you see an animal in distress, for example, you're not allowed to help it. And it was just so much footage, way more footage than you would expect, of just baby seals dying out in the middle of the snow because they had worked themselves too far inland. And you see them crying out for help, and scientists are just like walking to and fro, just not making eye contact, like it's like a homeless person asking for money.
I have
Yeah.
a homegirl. I don't think she is right now, but she was in Antarctica for a long time, and she worked with the penguins, but she worked on like people that go on tours. And she started out like, she's like a mild conspiracy theorist. So she's like, okay, I'm going to Antarctica. Chaney, shut up with your stupid flat earth thing, whatever. And she said when she was down there, it's so interesting because you go hang out with the penguins, you get off, you go on this little rock, you get to hang out with the penguins and walk it in this little way every day. You take the people in, get off at the same spot. You're allowed to look at the penguin. She's like, I want to go in there. Like, I want to go deeper in Antarctica on their off days or whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, you can go work at this different base, but you got to fill out all this paperwork and wait for them to get back to you. You're not allowed to just walk from one place to another in Antarctica. You're allowed in this place, and that's it. So all she saw every day, she's like, penguins are cute. For like the first 3 months that you're hanging out with penguins, she's like, you start to know their names and their habits, their little groups that
They're
they hang
chickens,
out with.
basically. That they have the intelligence level of a chicken.
Yeah, she's like, it's just like you just start watching them. You're like, oh, every day they're doing this thing every day.
Like on repeat.
You want to start killing penguins?
Yeah,
in your
I think
dreams?
she did it for so long. For some reason, right now, I feel like she's up in like some Norwegian or doing something with whales and doing cruises up there. But she's like one of those people that a smaller cruise boat, a smaller cruise line, and it's more adventurous. So it takes you to these certain spots, and then everybody gets off to do these things. But
And there's only two ways to really be in Antarctica. One is to spend $10,000 or more on one of those boutique cruises, and the other one is that you are legitimately a scientist that's been hired, and you're working for the military, essentially. I think there's like 30 bases total on all of Antarctica. The U.S. base is the biggest one that we're allowed to know about that's above ground. And I guess if you're not working directly through the state, there's really no other way in. Like you are working essentially between the Air Force and the U.S. government in general. If you even step foot in near one of those bases.
It's interesting too, because everyone that's in Antarctica, a lot of people are there, like scientists are there, and then there has to be cooks for scientists there, and repairmen for the scientists there, and like this next level little.
Shopkeepers that man the store that sell you, like your tchotchkes and the soup in the middle of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's still like a little tiny economy there, but I think the same as they like dig up a thing in the ice that no outside things affect this thing. They can get so much clean samples and clean labs and clean thing. I think they study the people that decide to go to Antarctica in that same exact way. And I've seen a couple of documentaries about people in Antarctica that have kind of blown my mind. Like where like one of them was these people went up there, all of them did these different things, and one of the people that were studying the penguins, like some group studied walruses, and so they show you all the cool animals and what they do, and they show you whiteouts and how people get lost in whiteouts, and how there's like these little like certain exercises that you learn to do in snow the same way you guys in the military, like if you're going into certain warfare of a desert or a jungle, like you guys get all prepped with this whole, if you're going to go live in Antarctica, there's a certain protocol that you have to learn to live there, because whiteouts are a real thing, and you'll just go missing, like you just can't see in a whiteout, which just in my head, like it's not darkness, it's a whiteout. Like, how does your head even comprehend that? Like, I've seen tons of snow, but just so much so that it's whiteout. But one of the studies is of the group of penguins, and they would realize like one penguin just started walking inland, and they were like, it's to destitution. This penguin's obviously going to die. There's no food there for the penguin. It's the only penguin walking in that direction into complete isolation. And they would follow the penguin for so long, eventually go get the penguin and bring it back with the group of penguins. It would turn around and do the exact same thing again. And it was weird to me watching them study this penguin and being like, yo, y'all are that penguin. Like, y'all out in Antarctica, going out there all by yourself, are the fucking penguin you're studying. And it was just like this mind-blowing kind of concept. But for people that think in extra terrain or extra land, was the penguin walking to desolate land, or was there maybe fruitful area that we're not allowed to go to?
Don Juan in the Carlos Castaneda books, he always talks about personal power, and Carlos picks up this snail that's on the sidewalk and looks like it's going to get crushed, and he puts it back on this, like in a little flower bed or whatever, and Don Juan gets onto him, and he said, why did you do that? And he's like, well, it was going to get stepped on. And he said, well, that snail might have been collecting all his personal power because there was poison or something over there to cross the sidewalk, so you're better off to not interfere. And I was like, it's a pretty interesting theory.
Do you interfere if you saw like a baby bird that fell out of its nest? Do you go and interfere? Or do you just say that's nature?
I interfere,
Depends.
but I'll tell
Yeah,
you
a
something
baby
that I
bird, I
learned from
would.
it. One thing real quick is penguins and polar bears aren't even on the same continent. That's a weird thing that we all have that in our cartoon
Yeah.
brain.
I don't even
but
believe in polar bears.
Me either. I think they're just albino grizzlies.
Psyop.
So glad you said it.
There was another thing in addition to the whiteout. There was something I hadn't heard of before called T3 brain, and I think that's when you just start going crazy from being either I think it's like locked in from all the storms, because I guess also for half of the year during their winter, every day is essentially for like a month or two, every single day is a category 1 hurricane outdoors, and then once a week is a category 3, and then once a month is a category 5. And from the combination of being indoors and being so cold, and I guess one of the interesting things is that when these hurricane winds are going and if it's snowing, the little snowflakes find their way in any little nook and cranny through windowsills and everything. So you can't even go in like the outer perimeter of some of the buildings. So a combination of being stuck inside in these like cells and just being absolutely freezing, the brain starts to shut down and not think logically. And it's just like a known thing that you're going to not make sense and you're going to lose track of time, and everyone goes through this. And then if you make it out, and then the sun starts coming up again. But I get this is like during the period, I think, after April, when the sun disappears for 4 months and you just don't see the sun again.
Real cabin fever.
Yeah.
S. Lee said that. Riggs, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That your little sweet pea. We know. Oh shit! Would you do one of those things, like if you got asked by 3 months in a blank amount of situation that you have to pretend you're on Mars or pretend go to Antarctica or lock yourself in one of these? Would you do that?
I don't think so.
Sounds horrible.
I've already been there. It was called being in the military, and I hated it.
Yeah, boot camp was awful.
Not just
That's-
boot camp, but just the fact
The
that
whole thing.
you could just get orders. It's like, you live in this city now. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's the end of conversation. You live in this city. The first time I put in for leave and was told no, I was like, okay, I realized that this is different than I thought. Like, you're telling me that if I go away for the weekend, I go to jail. And that, I don't know, it's a weird feeling. The same thing if you get, but the difference is, if once you're in Antarctica, I think they have a huge cargo plane from the US Air Force that goes in once every 6 months. And if you don't get on to that plane in that one time in 6 months, you're in Antarctica. There's no other way on or off that entire continent unless the Air Force says so.
That is so. I would get island. I already have an island fever thing for too long of a time. Like, I don't like being on the island for too long of a time. Even though you think, like, I don't go a lot of places. I'm pretty good just staying in my area. Like, it's different when you just can't leave.
I mean, that's the 15-minute city lifestyle, isn't it? Is your basic, they're a bunch of islands.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting claustrophobic in 15-minute cities.
Yeah, same.
It seems horrid.
I thought you were about to do a whip it.
I had to make sure all my salt was dissolved in there.
So there's apparently a class action lawsuit in the works, because Walmart used to sell flavored whippets, like watermelon whippets or something.
What?
This is my algorithm, by the way. It knows me well, but it's like, did you buy watermelon or strawberry whippets from Walmart in the last 4 years? If so, click here for this class action lawsuit. It's like, oh, I didn't get mine from Walmart.
I will tell you about fucking Walmart.
I would have if I
though,
knew they sold them.
with the salt. So that element packets that I heart. If you guys need, Abbie likes it too.
I do.
It's great
good.
for micronutrients in your water. If you're looking for those packets, I thought they sold it like also on the Walmart store. So I've told people too. I'm like, or you don't even have to use this link. Go to Walmart and you get it at the Walmart store. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it from the Walmart store. I've sent so many people to it. It is a totally different product. Like,
Oh, is it
the
really?
package looks the same, but it is not the same at all. And it even tastes different. I was so bummed out. I even wrote Walmart. I was like, nah, dog, I don't want this. You can come get this right back. Like, I tried 2 packages. I'm like, this isn't the same. And anyways, I got refunded, but I wanted to tell everyone, get it from the company. It's so different. It's not
Yeah,
the
that's
same.
wild.
Yeah, but it makes me think of like Walmart.
Because I noticed it
with
was
shitty
selling it in
whippets and
Walmart.
Element
Yeah.
powder. What are
Yeah.
you selling? Like some knockoff version, like flea market Nikes?
Well, yeah. Well, even I just saw this TikTok and it was talking about TJ Maxx, like if you know if it's say it's Calvin Klein. If it has a 1 in the top right corner, then that means it was made for TJ Maxx. If it has a 2, it means something else. And if it has like a 12, it means that it was just discontinued, something like that. But I was like, huh. So these name brands make stuff that's just for TJ Maxx.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
just
probably
make it
like Element.
so nice.
Yeah.
To answer Riggs, this is not medical advice, but yeah, whippets are definitely safer than canned Duster, because Duster, the high is from displacing oxygen in your brain, I believe, while whippets, the actual high from it is from the nitrous itself. Like the nitrous is what's giving you the high. When you get high off Duster, you're getting high from literally losing brain cells, I believe. It's two completely different feelings. And also whippets, we've got over 2 centuries now worth of research that shows that prolonged use in the right amount of dosages is not harmful. Like, for example, the guy that found it was like Joseph Priestley or something, but they used to go around on these tours around Europe and around the US, where you would just pay money to sit in a tent for 3 hours just loaded with nitrous. And this guy did this like every day of his life for pretty much his like adult lifespan. So there's definitely cases of it. There's also cases of a bunch of idiots that do galaxy gas and then they throw off their B12 levels and become paralyzed. So extremes on both angles. But I don't think there's a single study that's like, yeah, you can do can duster all day long.
Well, that reminds me of the
Look what year
doctor
he
in Cider House
isolated it.
Rules.
Sorry, Abby, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying in Cider House Rules, the doctor was like, what's it called? Ether or whatever, where he's addicted to that, breathing in the stuff for like anesthesia.
I think ether's also better for you than can duster. I think can
I
duster
would
might
think so
be
too.
one of the worst things that you can do. No judgment. If you've already got some can duster, like have at it. But I wouldn't suggest it.
Don't kill your brain cells.
Do salvia instead. Seriously.
Look, he discovered oxygen and 9 other gases.
This guy discovered it, and there was another person after him that I can't remember his name that discovered the anesthetic effects of it. And he was like 19 or something in college, and for the rest of his life, he was just experimenting with nitrous.
Wild.
It is kind of fun. I know we've talked about it on the show, but also as something that I've, like having a cavity filled or like in surgery type ways, it's pretty where you're just like good time Charlie. You're just kind of fun to be around and easygoing, which in that kind of situation, like how people get so panicked or so, I think even being able to turn that down, that's got to lower their heart rate immediately, which in a lot of situations that's so needed. Like, calm down.
And it was one of the only anesthetics at that time that you could still be conscious, because almost every other one was going to either knock you out or it was going to render your senses so that you couldn't like talk straight. You'd slur, kind of, you get a bunch of Novocaine or something in your mouth. Like now all of a sudden you don't have facilities, but nitrous allows you to like dial in like a certain amount. It's still revolutionary, and we're still figuring out how to use it the right way, I think.
Do you think Kanye does nitrous?
Oh yeah, I think 100%. I think it's totally a gateway drug, like a true gateway drug, because most any idiot can go to Publix or the grocery store and do nitrous right now. And I think for a lot of people that starts to be, for like little kids, the first way that they get inebriated in a normal childhood is usually spinning around really fast until you get dizzy. It's that one, and then hyperventilation. Some kids will discover hyperventilation early on and not know what it is, just know that it gives them this altered consciousness. That very next step is basically like huffing different things. Like,
were you guys
every
one
kid
of those
tries
kids?
That played the pass out game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Only a couple times. It's kind of scary. So, and it gave me a really monster headache afterwards.
Was this where someone choked you out, or did you have like a string? Remember, I used to hear stories about
Did
this.
you have a
kids
belt
dying
and
on
were
the
jerking
string.
off, or did somebody?
We would lean. You'd stand against the wall and you'd bend over and like put your hands on your knees and sit there and like make yourself hyperventilate, like, and then you'd stand up and then breathe out, and then somebody pressed on your chest, and there's a person standing on both sides to catch you. So they'd actually just press on your chest and I guess stop your heart like that, and then let you come to. And I just remember I fell, and I guess my hand landed on this boy's crotch, so everybody was laughing, but I was getting pissed because like there was this woman on this big chair, and I was trying to climb up on the chair with her, and she was like laughing at me like, no, you don't get to
A
come up
real
here
woman,
yet.
or is this like a?
This is what I was
ultradimensional-
seeing when I was like, when my heart was stopped. It was just like she was giant, this big ass woman on a chair, and I was wanting to get up on the chair with her, and she wouldn't let me, and she was just laughing at me. But it was, I wake up and it's the distortion of everybody laughing because my hand landed on his crotch. So
Isn't that why you can do everything right and make sure your kids stay off drugs? But like, how do you prevent your kids from just hyperventilating or passing out?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
We did it with like pretty much we were putting each other in sleeper holds without knowing it. Like we were just like
That was
fully-
never my thing, but I remember lots of school announcements and articles in the paper that were warning kids like don't play this string game, because there was a version of this where you would like tie a string in a doorway and then people would just like lay down into it and you'd have to have someone there to pull you back off the string. But the whole thing is that you were like laying down on with your jugular and would cut off blood to the rest of your head.
Oh
but it
my
would keep you
gosh.
on it longer than normal, because if you were doing it normal, like you like holding it yourself, at a certain point you start passing out and you let go. So it was a way to keep that. But I guess like 3 or 4 kids died in the span of like 2 years.
I'd imagine
So
so.
now all
That's
of a sudden
creepy.
it started like don't play the string game.
We didn't ever have it, and sometimes they would like squeeze your
Neck,
neck
yeah.
for a certain amount of time, and it was so weird because we didn't get as kids that there was a difference between our artery shutting off and our breathing. So you're like, yeah, I can still breathe. Everything's fine. Whoa. You just
Yeah.
didn't get that all of a sudden you were like, and sometimes you would be like, okay, like take 3 deep breaths, like fast, hold it, and then we do it.
Yeah.
And like we're just dumb, like 12 in the woods on a summertime,
Mhm.
and then be like, okay, Abby, it's your turn. And then you wake up and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I was asleep for like, sometimes I think this.
So this
You
is
already
so
know where this is
dangerous.
going.
This is like the
Sometimes
worst
I
thing to
wonder
do.
this. It's like we're all out partying the night before and you only have like 2 hours to sleep before you have to like get up and go to work the whole next day. Be like, all right, I'm just going to hyperventilate, and then you pass me out. Because then when you wake up from that, you feel like, I feel like I was been asleep for like 2 years.
I felt bad. My head was killing me forever, but we actually pressed on the chest, so that might have even been worse, you know?
I've never heard of that version.
Me
It's
either.
so
It seems
funny, all these
scarier.
variations.
Yeah.
But like but everyone had a version of this growing up.
Yeah. I've never heard of the string thing. That's scary sounding. But, I mean, it's all
It's the same
scary.
premise. It was just that you could do
Yeah.
it by yourself. But that, and hence why so many kids die doing it.
But that's like, so like choking during sex, like y'all, you're not supposed to like press on this part, the windpipe. It is the blood vessels. Just saying.
Because you're passing it out, like, and you're like, gosh,
You're
that's
not trying to
even
kill
shutting
'em.
off my.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy though? That it's if you look at some things that are considered kinks, it's because during the time that you were going through puberty, stuff was like mixed. What if the people that are into getting choked as a kink were also going through puberty, and the first time they had girls' hands on them or passed out and their
Yeah.
hand landed on a boy's crotch? It was all during this same amount of time that we were also spinning the bottle in adolescence. And so it's like
Same exact time
somewhere
period.
in
Yeah.
that same kink vessel in our brain. I don't know.
That makes a lot
Maybe.
of sense.
It is weird. The shit.
Wouldn't
that
it be
we all did.
crazy if like the government started interfering with people's lives around that age in traumatic ways? It seems like it would just usher in like a whole new generation of people with unresolvable issues.
That's what I
It
do think
does.
they already do.
Yeah.
Like, and when Abby talks about dream hacking or something, then I have no idea where people are like, isn't this cool? ChatGPT just says this and does this and shows me this picture. But if it's dream hacking you, is it cool?
I know. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, and in terms of dream hacking, I think I've read this a few places. I don't know if it's BS or not, but that typically people don't use technology or use like a cell phone in a dream, and that it's kind of a minority to use a cell phone. Have you heard this
I
before, or is that? I know
Yeah, I hear
you
people say it all the time, but I'm like, I could probably look up phone on here and I can tell you how many, like, let's see, phone.
And I guess the question being that if you do have a phone in a dream consistently, is that a shortcut to dream hacking? Like, is that a game genie that you've already got it in your pocket?
I don't know, but phone, like so many of my dreams have phones, even in my lucid dreams. So yeah, I mean, I
But
can
that
scroll
would
and
be a
scroll.
dream hack if you were like, oh, I always have a pad of paper and a pencil in my pocket. And, you know, it would be the same thing as having to scribe. But why stop at a phone?
Yeah,
Like you can have you can have a crystal ball in your
Can I
pocket.
bring Chat GPT with me into a lucid dream and start using that?
Why not? But you also have the dreaming emissary, so you could just ask the dream. You could actually just talk to the dream.
What if you want to cross-reference the dream?
Yeah, bring ChatGPT. That would be interesting. I'll have to think about that next time I have a phone in my dream.
Do you want to take Chat GPT in your dream with you?
Well, I've already trained my ChatGPT to like interpret dreams like I do, so
Well, you think so.
yeah.
I know. Is that a good thing?
I don't know, because I like how much information are you giving it? So
Yeah,
I've only
like,
fed it 2 dreams because I'm like, it kind of makes me feel paranoid in a way.
but it's
But
neat.
if it starts interpreting your dreams in a way that you think is based on you, then the more you read its interpretations, the more you might integrate its way of thinking. And now the next time you interpret your own dream, you're influenced by ChatGPT the same way that you're trying to train it. Like it'll train you.
True.
Like quantum language,
Yeah.
where it's just slight tilts that we don't even notice, and all of a sudden one thing's a whole different thing. Like one of the things that last night we were talking about was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it's not that at all, because happiness is a bullshit fucking fairy tale fucking thing. What are you pursuing? It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. Like that. And so certain things in our prayers or in our that they even Mandela effect, and something becomes a little word different. Like, why aren't we saying mirror, mirror, and it's magic mirror now? So even that kind of it depends on what the meaning of the word is. Where it's like, holy shit. Like, there's a legalese language that we don't understand of law. There's like the maritime law that we don't understand. And then there's this whole other slightly different thing that's happening that we're like, happiness feels good. That seems like a pursuit of happiness feels like a great thing. Everybody should get a pursuit of happiness. Like, what the fuck's happiness?
If you're pursuing happiness, you're never going to catch it though, too, in the quantum of it all. Because you're always saying you have to pursue it. You have to find it. You have to chase it down.
So
I feel like this is commie talk. When you replace property with happiness, that's just an obvious red flag towards communism and socialism.
well, isn't
Yeah.
there that
They'll
exact
have
same
nothing and be
thing
happy.
of the Lord's Prayer? Where it's like, forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us or something. But
And
one
then
of
they
the
changed it to
lines,
debts and debtors.
no, it was supposed to be debt and debtors,
Okay.
but they took that out, and now we say trespass. And it was always supposed to be, I forgive my debts, like those who trespassed against me, which brings up perfect thing of quantum language, and somebody who always says things very precisely and gets a lot of shit for maybe not saying things as precisely. But I thought this was interesting. Let me see where I posted it.
Are we talking about Slick right now?
Oh, I know. Hold on. I think you'll like this. Let me make sure the sound's on. So DJT yesterday, when he was giving a speech, he was all
Think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they
I saw you post this. I was like, oh, interesting.
yeah, I thought it was super
I
interesting.
prayed for the death of Heather Chandler.
Shylock.
I
What?
felt better.
But yeah, I think like he doesn't mince words. Like, we're here now.
Yeah. The fact that he said that is like kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, that it's curious, and it makes a lot of look at what.
Because that's an obscure term. Have you ever heard of it, Thomas? Shylocks?
No, I mean, I think when Merchants of Venice came up, but otherwise, no. But I wonder, is that a word that Donald Trump is putting together because he is so into Shakespeare and the Merchant of Venice, or is this a term that gets thrown? Like at what level of finance and politics are people using Shakespearean terms still? Like, I feel like they're on such a different, deeper level that they're using it outside of like Hollywood scripts, or maybe not. Maybe all the consultants on his team are so deep in Hollywood that they can't remove the Shakespearean sort of like vernacular from it.
Or even New Yorker. Like I would say most New Yorkers, like Broadway is part of their blood. Like it's like their backyard, like our Disney. So they know a lot more about Shakespeare and Broadway and these like a whole different kind of thing than we necessarily get into. Even how many times, if you ask the average New Yorker, they've seen Fiddler on the Roof compared to the average Floridian, it is significant to zero. Stereotypes. Although there were no legally practicing Jews who lived in England during the Shakespeare times, because they were expelled from the country in 1290 by Edward I.
What?
Let's go check it out. Check it out. The indict of expulsion was royal decree expelling all Jews from the Kingdom of England that was issued by Edward I on 18 July 1290. It was the first time a European state is known to have permanently banned their presence. The date is an issuance was most likely chosen because it was a Jewish holy day, the 9th of Ab, which commemorates the destruction of Jerusalem and other disasters. Edward told the sheriffs of all counties he wanted to all the Jews expelled before All Saints' Day, November 1st that year. That's a All Saints.
That's pretty hardcore. Yeah, All Saints is the Christian version of like Dia de Los Muertos.
Yeah, November 1st, right?
Yeah, where you honor the dead. So first of all, kicking out the Jews on the date in which they recognize the crumbling of Jerusalem, and you're like, we're kicking you out on this date, and then it's also right before they're supposed to be honoring their dead. That it seems like two different types of salt in the wound.
That's wild.
That is so wild. Because if it's All Saints' Day, then all really Halloween is All Saints' Day Eve.
Yeah. Oh, it's Samaya. What is that? It's like the Irish holiday. Samhain.
Samhain, isn't it?
There it is. There you go. I would have got there eventually.
Jews were allowed to leave England with cash and personal possessions, but outstanding debts, homes, and other buildings, including synagogues and cemeteries, were forfeit to the king. While there was no record attack on Jews during the departure on lands, there were acts of piracy in which Jews died and others were drowned as a result of being forced to cross the English Channel at a time of the year when dangerous storms were coming. There is evidence of personal names of Jewish refugees. You guys, I'm going to get right out of here. I don't really care. But it's
flirting with danger there a little bit.
I was about to take on a whole character was coming over me, and I don't know how mocking of a voice that it was about to become. Like I could feel the next sentence out of my mouth was like, "Oh, did they?" I was like, "Get out of here." Anyways. Wow, that's super interesting. A new word I learned for my vernacular that I will be using at the bank this week. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't be a Shylock.
Yeah, don't be such a Shylock over there. What a word.
That's going to be on the ADL website soon now because Donald Trump said it.
You're right. It seems like warlock though. Like wizards and warlocks.
Like a shy warlock.
Yeah.
Bankers and Shylocks, wizards and warlocks.
Yeah. Bankers and Shylocks. I don't know. It seems like some kind of little debt wizard.
Yeah. Like a mage.
Yeah, it'd be under a bridge.
I just gotta say, it sounds like a slur. It's like Shylock. It absolutely, I know it's not, but it sounds like an actual slur.
It actually does. Yeah. Though I figured it was.
I think Hallows Eve. I think that Hallows Eve is the mischief night. or at least in Detroit, Michigan, they light
Oh,
everything on fire.
it's Devil's Night. Yeah, because The Crow is like one of my favorite movies. It's just October 30th, the
The
day
worst I ever
before
had to
Halloween.
pee in my whole life. The worst I ever had to pee in my whole life. Hallows Eve, driving through Detroit, Michigan, and you don't even want to get out of the car. It's like Detroit, it's gotten so much better now, but when I went to college, it was not great. And I don't know if it's great now, but it's so much better than it used to be. But you just didn't get out of the car, and I had to pee so bad I was crying. It ended up I like really like getting off the highway in Detroit and finding a porta potty at a family reunion. And I remember these black ladies. I was like, "Can I please use your porta potty?" And they were all like, "Go ahead, girl." Like, like you don't even have to ask our permission. Whatever's happening here, go do you, boo. Like, but anyways, the worst I ever had to pee. I always think about it on Hallows Eve. Seared in my brain. Speaking
That's a
of
new type of memory neural pathway,
It
right?
was the worst. Because something happens in your brain when you're drunk, or if you're like, where you're like, oh my God, I just peed, where you don't care. When you're stone cold sober and you're like, I am about to piss my car right now. This is not happening in life. You'll cry before
Oh,
that
That's
happens.
wild. That
pregnancy, it happens all the time. You cry all the time when you got to pee that bad and you can't. And then you almost cry when you pee because it hurts so bad, like just to even start because you have to pee so bad. It's like, it's the worst.
well, it's trauma, right? So being able to link traumatic instances with memories, it almost seems like those, because I've never thought about that before. But yeah, all the times that like you've almost peed and you were sober, seems like they lock in. Like I can remember like the specific instances, almost like an olfactory scent, like triggers you back to that spot.
Because that would almost be like a humiliation wound. Because if you actually do pee your pants or whatever, and you're stone cold sober, it would feel humiliating.
One time I did because I was so cold. Like I had to pee, and then I got out. I was at the ATM. It was at night in Oregon, and oddly enough, I had my pee coat on. And I was like, it was back when like you would put your card in the ATM, you're doing your shit, and it just locks your fucking card in there. And you're like, oh, and I was making a deposit at the ATM because it was like, you get off like bartending and you're like, let me drop off my money at this ATM.
Yeah.
Putting it at the ATM, deposit it. I'm like, come on, bitch. I can't just leave because it'll keep your card and then they shred your card. It takes weeks to get another card. I'm like, oh my gosh, give me my card back. Just cancel this fucking shit. Give me my money back. But fuck, I'm trapped in here. I'm gonna pee my pants. I'm gonna pee my pants right now. I'm shivering because I'm so cold. It's like 20 degrees outside, where my pea coat and gloves and jeans were not enough. I'm shivering. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking pee. Cancel. Give me my card, you fucking bank. And then I just was like, took off my pea coat, hung it over my arm, and just peed at the ATM, standing where I stood. Like, what the fuck am I gonna fucking do? This thing won't give me my fucking card. And then I walked around to Jules, who was driving, and she's like, what is it? Like, I'm just standing there outside her car door with my pea coat over my arm, and I hand her my wallet because I don't want to put it back in my fucking pee pants. And so I was like, I just pee-peed myself. Like I was humiliated, even though it was
Yeah.
just her, and she thought it was so fucking funny. And then she made me drive home with the window down because she was like, and she made me drive, and I was freezing cold the whole drive home with my wet fucking pants. Anyway, so that's what you guys know that.
You wouldn't feel as bad about it in a big city because, like, for example, any ATM I can think of in downtown Orlando, you wouldn't even be the first person that night that peed in the parking lot.
It is kind of that. I did have black pants on. Like, honestly, if I would have gone out to a bar, nobody would have fucking known. But I was just like, I'm sitting in my piss pants. I'm a grown woman, sober, sitting in my piss pants because the bank wouldn't give me my ATM card back.
Oh my gosh. I'd be so pissed.
I was.
Pissed off, pissed on, all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the times sober that I pissed my pants. Drunk times.
New
Drunk
segment
times,
idea.
The other time was almost in Detroit, but it was very painful. So those are the 2 times sober. And like you're saying, they're scar in my brain. Drunk times, one time drunk for real, I've had ass over elbows down a whole 20-foot ravine because one of my friends from Wisconsin was like, you know what's a good idea? Teaching my drunk Florida friend how to piss on a hill. Because this is what we do in Wisconsin. It'll be perfect. And there's no hills where I'm from. My ankles don't even bend that way. And like for real, I went down a whole canal so fucking deep where she was like, she's like, I didn't see you anymore. You just disappeared. And it was in Florida, like a Florida fucking canal. She was like, I'm going to show you like a Wisconsin person in Florida how to. I'm lucky I didn't get attacked by gators in the middle of the park. Like just fall onto a gator. It was like, but when you're drunk, you're like, this is one of the funniest stories ever. Look at, she's like, oh my gosh, you have algae on your teeth. So yeah, when you're drunk, no scars. That you laugh at. You're like, good thing I was drunk. And we were like, no, we cannot drive to the store. We're intoxicated. Let's walk. What could go wrong? We're 2 grown-ups just walking to the store intoxicated. I have to use the restroom. I don't drink like that, you guys. Not that I won't, but it just has to be like when we all hang out next time and we record and do some things. Like even I've been throwing around the idea like maybe Thomas and I take a trip to Alligator Alcatraz.
I'd be down for that. Where is Alligator Alcatraz?
I don't know. I feel like it's by I just picture Gainesville or by where Ghislaine Maxwell is. I have
And
no
what
idea.
is Alligator Alcatraz?
I'll find out right now.
I would have assumed South Florida.
Gator Alcatraz location.
Is there like a chain link fence we can go and get footage of us crying at? That would be kind of fun. Like I'll wear like a white suit.
You're gonna wear a white suit?
I'll
gotta
wear
be
a white
present.
suit and I'll cry.
You wear new aerial photos of Alligator Alcatraz Immigration Detention Center. We're gonna pull it up right now. And we'll
Yeah, if it's in the Everglades, we're talking South Florida.
It's closer to me that way. I was thinking it was closer to you for some reason, but let's see. We're gonna. You're right. Look at an aerial view from helicopter. The migrant detention center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport.
Dade Collier. Well, that's my old stomping ground. Yeah.
Okeechobee, Florida. I've never heard of this. It's not Okeechobee. It's Okeechobee, Florida. So look at it. Even has P in the name. Which today I posted that the Liver King must smell like piss. When every time I've seen him for the entirety of his character in our zeitgeist, I've always thought that guy looks like he smells like piss. And
from what I understand, piss would probably be an upgrade because one of his other traits is that he doesn't believe in stripping away your natural oils and just like your normal biome. So he just doesn't shower or bathe. It's like part of his like
he don't wear deodorant if that's the case.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all of those. It's all of those things.
I mean,
oof.
You can wash your body with oil, but you'd have to be like religious about it. Like, and in a lot of cases, it gets you cleaner than water. But I don't know. That still would be gross. I can't imagine the smell.
That's Alligator Alcatraz. Don't look too bad.
So what is Alligator Alcatraz? Can you guys please?
It's an
explain?
immigrant detention center.
It really is.
Yeah, look at there's
Okay.
people in there. It looks like immigrants. Look at them. Can't you tell?
Why do they
they're
call it
immigrants?
Alligator Alcatraz?
Because it is surrounded by a fucking moat.
Ooh,
Let me
okay.
see. I'll find you a better area. If it's not in here, I'll find you a shot. See,
I know it's like a human rights violation, but they could turn this into a reality show so easily, like a fish tank or something, or a Big Brother.
see, it's in the middle of the Everglades. See how much swamp there is around it?
Oh yeah.
Like you could turn this into something where like citizens watch what happens and vote on who gets to re-enter the country.
Well, then there was a whole thing because Trump, in that same speech where he said Shylocks yesterday, he also talked about amnesty for like assimilated Mexican workers that like
Sounds like Reagan.
have been like working here for X amount of time and living here already. And he was like floated the idea of amnesty, and then people had to fight about it online.
I wonder if he's ever going to share stats on the gold card or the Trump card, right? Because that came out 2 or 3 weeks ago now, $5,000 a pop.
Did you get yours?
I got my invite, but I didn't realize what it was for. I was just like, oh, is this a new Trump coin?
Yeah.
TrumpCard.gov, $5 million.
5 million, yeah.
The Trump card is coming. Let's look at it together.
But I feel like anyone that's got 5 million already would have paid for, their citizenship.
Yeah, I would think so.
You guys, this is TrumpCard.gov.
This is real. This is not like a joke.
This is not a joke. This is real life. So $5 million, United States of America. The Trump card. My name is, from a region I'm interested for myself. My email is. Because he said like, oh, this is worth like $5 million, but we're going to be giving some away.
Like, I kind of want to win one, even though I'm already a citizen.
Yeah, I almost want to fill it out too. It'd be cool. Wouldn't it be cool to have the power to give out this to somebody?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it like a Bitcoin where I can just like, it's like an NFT. I can transfer it to anyone I want.
That would be pretty dope. And then today, when he was signing the big, beautiful bill, he came out at 17:17 and then like chatted for a certain amount of time, and then at 5:47 exactly, so 17:47 exactly, he signed the BBB.
Don't you think that that's kind of weird? Like when they named that the big beautiful bill, it took me back to the whole Biden thing with the Build Back Better.
Yeah, the lowercase all B's.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I thought was funny today is he put one big beautiful bill. So then it makes me think of 1666 and like the Great Fire of London. And everyone said like the Jesuits had this huge conspiracy that they like lit London on fire. So it's like, because one big beautiful bill is 1666.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are they doing this?
I think also it's a little bit weird because this is supposed to be the part. I know it's not, but it's supposed to be the party of small government calling a big bill beautiful, when that's the exact opposite. Like, you want small bills. You want one example. I think even Trump kind of went on this platform. Someone had mentioned it, that for every law that they want to pass, you got to get rid of like 5 or 10 that are already on the books. But I don't think that's happening with the big beautiful bill. I don't think they're getting rid of red tape and then replacing it with less. It sounds like more on top of more.
I do think there's a couple of interesting, like Comey and Comey's daughter. Like, he's the one, and he's all involved in like Russia hoax and all this shit. But then his daughter's involved with like Nexium cult, and like we always see these two people like come up all the time. I think there's gonna be I don't know. I'm so here for the whole entire thing that even the auto pin of Biden is, if it's proven that his bills were all signed with auto pin illegally, it's like a wand. Like, it's like cutting the head off a wizard. Like, it just unravels an auto pin. And so that's like $4.7 trillion of whatever bullshit.
I think we would get the JFK tapes before the Biden auto pen tapes.
I don't know. I think even like where it's like Epstein. And I always tell people, like, put in your state and put in human trafficking and see if there's been any huge busts. Just whatever your state is. Because I know in my state, it's been crazy. Like, hundreds of people have been arrested and hundreds of children have been freed. Texas, Illinois, like, this is all over. So it's like, when it's just Epstein, I'm like, I'm Melania Trump in the jacket that I'm like, stop pretending you fucking care. Like, stop pretending you care when you're just like, oh, free the children, Jeffrey Epstein. Do some more research. Like, even where I'm like, well, what about the Franklin scandal? What? I'm like, well, let's just talk about other things. We can talk about other things besides just Epstein, who I'm like, in the whole grand scheme of the thing, was barely middle management. Like, he was no El Chapo.
No, but he's the closest thing that we have for normies to reference as to how bad and deep things really go. Because I mean, I distinctly remember Alex Jones talking about Epstein and Lolita Express in the early 2000s, and that was standard fare conspiracy theory mumbo jumbo. You might as well have been talking about interdimensional travel and astral projection. But the
Now it
second
was
that,
old.
but he entered the zeitgeist, and now for the rest of at least until we're all dead and gone, but like all the generations alive now that are cognizant of that going on, like he's part of their zeitgeist, which is something that I never even would have put on my bingo card.
Here, I wonder if I have it on here, which I always think is so.
What about the Puff Daddy thing, where like Puff Daddy got
We're gonna
off
talk about that
on
next.
2 charges of soliciting prostitution, and that's it. That's the end of it, right?
I always thought that whole trial was just like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Like, I never thought anything so.
Like, look over here.
Yeah, it kind of all.
I liked that it was a way to flush out the snitches within Diddy's realm. It was like, hey, we're gonna put you on trial. We're gonna see how many people come out of the woodwork, who's willing to put a name behind some of the accusations, just to get them on the radar. And then when he gets off, because now everyone that came out and testified, they're all like, I'm afraid for my life. This guy literally has put bombs in people's cars before when he crossed them, and now this is like the most you can threaten his livelihood is by actually testifying against him in court.
Even that what's that Nipsey Hussle. Did you see all those videos going around of Nipsey Hussle before he died, hanging out with Puff Daddy? And like Puff, they're listening to Nipsey's new album, and like Nipsey's excited. He's like clapping to his song, and Puff's like, stop clapping. And Nipsey like claps kind of, and then makes the other girls in the room clap. And you can see like Puff get disgruntled face.
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. He clapped one more time. He dead. But you wonder where, because it's also Nipsey Hussle was the one that was all attached to like the Dr. Sebi stuff. Dr. Sebi. Here's the thing I wanted to show you.
Out of the classroom, 1976, eventually launching his own exclusive finance firm for billionaire clients. But he just couldn't keep out of the classroom. So when he was shopping for a new house, he bought himself an entire schoolhouse.
This is a totally real.
And transformed it into the largest single residence in all of Manhattan at a whopping 51,000.
It's wild. Like, this is VH1, just normal stuff that we'd watch after school growing up.
$10 million just renovating it. It has incredible bells and whistles, closed circuit televisions, a heated sidewalk out front, so the snow melts.
This is where Prince Andrew was photographed, and they had to like delete all that from the internet.
This is where that famous painting of Bill Clinton.
Jeffrey Epstein, one private plane won't do. He's got a small fleet. A Gulfstream 4, a Cessna, and a Boeing 727 with, of course, an in-flight trading room.
So that's the Lolita Express right there on VH1. This is what Hollywood thought of Jeffrey Epstein.
That's wild.
It comes in handy when you've got powerful friends to fly around. When Bill Clinton organized a week-long tour of Africa in 2002, Jeff gave him a ride in his personal 727 and took actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker along for the trip.
Now, for a former
This did not age well.
to investigate the problems
Hell no.
in Africa, and for Epstein it was a chance to hang out with some of his big shot friends.
Jet setting with Bill, all in a day's work for Wall Street mogul.
You got like Virginia Guffrey in the background. Like,
Yeah, like, oh, no big hoop. Like that's just all part of the show. So I don't know. I think I'm still excited how some of it's gonna end up playing out, and I love hearing words like Shylock talking about bankers.
I feel like we've seen the end of that storyline though. The
With the
Epstein
Epstein?
storyline. I think so. I think that's like that was season 1 and we're on season 3 already. They're not going to go back to it.
I don't think we have. It almost makes me wonder if it's like a primary thing. You know how like we're gonna dump fucking Osama bin Laden's body when we need to vote Obama back in. I almost feel like it's something that's already done, and they're like, hold. Let's not use this ammunition unnecessarily. We might need to get people voted into New York. You know, that's kind of how I feel like politics works. It's like, and then some people, they have the certain blackmail on them, and they still need the monkey to dance. So they're like, well, now we're holding your blackmail monkey. Like you've just handed it from one shadow government to another shadow government, essentially.
Well, that's what Epstein dying did, and that's probably what the Puff Daddy thing was. That was a transfer of black books. So now someone in the State Department has control over that black book, and Puff Daddy doesn't get in trouble because he also knows who's in that black book. So he's worth more in terms of blackmail than he ever would be in terms of being like a sacrificial lamb. I think they'll find like another version of a Puff Daddy pretty soon.
So we were just talking about Comey's daughter is the Puff Daddy attorney. So she was also the Nexium cult attorney. Hold on. I'm going to actually read you a list because you guys will be like, what? And it's interesting.
This was a tactic used during the JFK assassination too. That I can't remember which politician it was. There was a politician that was in the Warren Commission that had a daughter that was intern of a huge news corporation, and it was this direct pipeline of like what they were trying to pitch in the Warren Commission, and then it would make its way directly onto the desk of all the different news reporters, and just that one connection alone just kind of set up this weird psyop pipeline that was really hard to break. And it's a normal thing, is that you would have a father and a daughter connection between government and between media.
So this post made me dig a little. You guys should all follow Sir Censor a lot. Oliver is awesome, and he has a great voice. So if you ever catch him in a space, make him sing for you. Anyway, connecting dots. Who's really protecting who? James Comey served as the FBI director from 2013 to 2017 under Barack Obama. During his tenure, Comey oversaw two of the most controversial federal investigations in model history. The Anthony Weiner sexting case, which led to the discovery of Hillary Clinton email on her shared laptop with Huma Abedin, Clinton's close aide. The Clinton email server investigation was reopened by Comey just 11 days before the 2016 election, then closed again days later, triggering widespread outrage from both sides of the political spectrum. Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, now works as the SDNY, the same office that prosecuted Anthony Weiner, and is currently handling the case against Sean Diddy Combs. Despite years of abuse, allegation, videos, and testimony, Diddy was only convicted on two main account charges, not on sex trafficking, RICO, or rape. The failure to prosecute the full scope of Diddy's alleged crimes mirrors her father's pattern, opening cases publicly, then closing them quietly, protecting those connected to the powerful. It goes through all these other people, like assistant DA, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, look at the names in all of these cases as they start to attack or attach to things, even like the Epstein connections, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, the Nexium isn't on this, but the fact that that's a thing too, I'm like, that, like, it's so much protection right out in the open.
Well, and the way Nexium operated too was entirely on blackmail, and it was blackmail on celebrities and people that were already influential. Like, I think one of the examples in the Nexium documentary was that someone would write all sorts of like lewd and illicit journal recountings of them doing like highly illegal things with like family members, and knowing that if they were to leave the group, then these letters would be made public. And in some cases, like intentionally taking compromising photos of yourself just so that you can provide them some like really good blackmail material to let them know like, hey, I really want in this cult this bad. Here's what I'm willing to do. And this isn't like a hidden camera. This is them going and taking their own compromising photos. I think that's like the most 21st century version of blackmail, is that you just show up to the gate and you're like, here's my blackmail that I took myself, video of me doing it, video of me writing the letter, like everything you need, and that's the cost of admission.
And even worse, so like let's say I lived a
Initiation.
pretty okay life, but I was just really career oriented, and I ended up in going to this group that I just have thought, oh, this is a little ladies group, all these powerful ladies, we all meet up, we give each other tips on business, and we move on, blah 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 blah. And then the leader of the group's like, hey, I need you to tell me something bad about yourself. I need you to give me this blackmail. I never really did anything. Like, I don't really have any blackmail. Come on, I need something. And so, like, this lady, one of the ladies, she gets pressured so much. She's like, one time my husband was mean to me. Like, it starts out as just one time my husband was mean. By the time you see all this lady's coercive texts, this poor woman, like, it's like she has written this fake letter about her husband beating her and given it to this lady as like blackmail. Like, she's created her own blackmail that doesn't exist at all, and now her husband's wrapped up into this blackmail. He never touched his poor wife. He just thought she was going to some church meeting with the girls, and now she's carving Allison Mack's name and initials into her. Like, what is happening? But anyway, I just think it is crazy that there is Nexium cult attachment, all to the P. Diddy case, all to the Wiener laptop, all to Hillary Clinton's emails. And I'm like, can't just one part of the dam fall? Any one part of the dam.
Yeah.
I don't even care about Epstein Island. I don't even care about Diddy. I would still like Hillary's emails. Like, I'm so far back in I would still take a little Wiener's laptop. So what happened to the 9 of 12 cops that were like died or suicided after seeing it? So it's like, oh, the Epstein thing, I'm like, yeah, that too. That too. Netflix bores me with Epstein. Which
I have yet to see one decent Epstein documentary. Every single one of them kind of whitewashes it, and it tries to separate him from everyone, and they were connected. There was another one too, a Jimmy Savile miniseries. It wasn't a documentary, but man, it was like Alan Rickman, I think, plays Jimmy Savile. It was like a 4-part series. And and it was, of course, funded by like Channel 4, which is the ones that were directly connected to Jimmy Savile to begin with. And the entire point of this 4-part series was to show how people were like, we can't believe how insidious this horrible man was, that he infiltrated all these levels of like otherwise innocent layers of government and was able to, get knighted, was able to get with the Pope, was able to get with the Queen, and have all these different Margaret Thatcher, like have all these direct connections, and they were just oblivious. They had absolutely no idea what was going on, and he was using all of that as a cloak to hide behind. But then the more you actually look into the real story, it's like they had to know. They had to absolutely know what was going on, and knew that someone did a pro-con analysis chart, and they were like, look, here's all the dirt that comes with Jimmy Savile, but here's all the bonuses. We get this young vote, essentially. He was kind of a Puff Daddy. He was kind of like a P. Diddy with like rock the vote kind of way.
Top of the pops. Like, he was cool. Like, he was hip, Jimmy Savile.
Until he's like hitting on you, yeah.
Until he's like Abbie. That's not good.
No.
Do you guys remember the 7/7 bombing in London?
Yeah, it was like their own little mini 9/11.
Yeah, like so much about it I didn't know. Like, I already knew about false flags then, but it was almost like I knew about false flags and I was like, this is a false flag, and I just turned it off. I didn't absorb any of it. I watched a documentary on Netflix about it, which this is why part of the being incensed. If you ever watch Netflix documentaries as a conspiracy theorist, when you're like, they don't even mention this part. Oh, what a coincidence. What a coincidence. Like, you get so heated.
Oh, who's this produced by? Obama? Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I did not know that during that bombing that this was also going on. Like, they were having a meeting, like George Bush was with Tony Blair in London, so they come out right afterward and they're like this. Let's see, hold on.
It's reasonably clear that there have been a series of terrorist attacks in London. We are united in our resolve to confront and defeat this terrorism that is not an attack on one nation, but on all nations and on civilized people everywhere.
And the fact that he was just there with George Bush, and then they find just a passport. And it's like the same exact story, like you're saying, like a mini 9/11, like even the clues that are laid, the things that happen, it just is like.
Well, the other big part of it too was that the 7/7 bombings happened at the exact same time that they were running a drill in which something like the 7/7 bombing was happening. So there were people on record, the same as 9/11, that were getting these reports, and they had to be like, wait, are we talking real world? Or are we still talking about the simulation that we're currently practicing right now? Because that was, I think, part of like the air traffic controllers, or one of them, they had it on tape for 9/11 where they're like, wait, is this real world or is this sim? Since they were also running drills at the exact same moment that this is all happening. So that's the likenesses between 9/11 and 7/7 are it's almost a direct blueprint that you can lay on one on top of the other. And that one was used to get Britain more involved in this like war on terror that we had clearly started to like build out of the 9/11. No one else was getting on board as much. Remember the freedom fries thing? Like France didn't jump up and say we're gonna do anything that you guys want us to, and we're like, well, we're gonna call them freedom fries now. They're no longer French fries. We've taken it back. That's what that was all over. It was because France didn't get their own 7/7 to get swept up into the fold.
It was so like even rewatching all the footage that they show, I'm like, that doesn't seem like fake blood. Like that doesn't seem like blood. And then it's like there's like a whole bunch of smoke and they're inside a tunnel and it's dark, and then all these people just start emerging. And then it's like for the scene overall, what they tell us it is, the like blankets over things and plastic over things. It just was so Boston bombing where it's like, is this really a scene, or are they like, okay, and action, and we got to get all these real people out of here because they'll know it was just some parts of it were so phony. Watching it almost irritated me. Like it made me feel bad, like starting it, like this guy's like, and then boom, he's on the train and he's like, boom, all of it clears. He like comes to and he notices something like jabbing into his back, and he's like, what is that? And he pulls it, and it's like his leg. It like blew his legs off, and that's how he, yeah. But you don't realize it blows his leg off till like 20 minutes into the thing, and then some guy like says that he stuck his hand inside of his leg and pinched off his artery. It just reminded me like the same as the guy that loses his legs blown off in Boston that you used to be able to find all the pictures of in Iraq having his legs blown off. And then those got disappeared off the internet. I felt crazy. Like, didn't those exist? Didn't we have those, you guys?
Hey, speaking of, what happened to Tiffany Dover? Have we ever gotten an answer on this?
Tiffany Dover.
Tangent Dover. She was the nurse that passed out on TV.
Oh.
Did we get an answer on it? I'm going to look. Tiffany Dover.
The last it was that like she survived, she's out there, but she's a private person and wants a private life now.
Alabama nurse Tiffany Dover speaks out. Oh, it says that 2 days ago. Weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, let's pull it up and read it together.
It's like all AI generated.
Uh-huh.
She speaks in M dashes only now.
It says, Alabama nurse Tiffany Dover speaks out after anti-vax conspiracy said she disappeared. Every few weeks, the hashtag "Where's Tiffany Dover" pops up on a more conspiratorial corners. Yep, you guys start it tonight. If you guys all go to X, your Facebook page, put out a hashtag "Where's Tiffany Dover."
Bring her back out of hiding.
Let's get her to comment about this tonight that we're worried about her. Miss Dover, a nurse who lived in Alabama, was one of the first U.S. frontline workers to get the COVID vaccine in 2020 as part of the campaign to build trust around the jab. The nurse was filmed getting the jab, but soon became a subject of ravenous conspiracy theorists when she fainted on camera. I didn't die that day, the nurse explains. Yes, I did pass out. This could be a side effect. Her only regret is not speaking out.
Where's a
look at? There's no picture.
Yeah, where's a photo of her alive right now?
Yeah, this is her. This is the only picture they'll show us still.
What about the comedian? What about the football player? You
The
know, the
comedian
comedian
lady
who's
that took a head dive on
Oh,
stage.
Heather
yeah,
McDonald's
she like
fine.
spun and okay.
Yeah, she still has a podcast that's pretty popular. And then the football player, I think he played again.
Except that he didn't have his
The
tattoos
clone.
and stuff. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's just a side effect. That happens.
Okay.
So
You
Makes
disappear,
sense.
you come back a week later, and you're missing tattoos. It's a normal side effect of the vaccine.
right at our 1:30 exactly. We have 222 watchers right now. The watchers. If you guys feel like commenting or hitting hearts, or thumbs up or bells, make sure you follow Paranoid American everywhere and at Abstract One everywhere as well, whatever social media you decide to hang out on. And yeah, if you guys have anything you want to chat about or anything going on this week or that you want us to chat about, feel free to drop it in the chat and I will pull it up and we will autistically share with each other what we think about that thing.
I forgot to mention that when Donut was here and Ryan was here too, Rye or Die, and we went and saw the 28 Years Later movie together.
Oh, how was it? I liked the first 2 or 3 or however many.
So I've rewatched it again at home. Like I found like a bootleg version of it, and I actually don't hate it as much as a lot of people do. But when we went and saw it in the theater, I got this weird thing like I cannot stay awake in a movie theater. I will fall asleep no matter how awake I am going in or any. So I even had to tell them before we start. I was like, "Hey, if I fall asleep, just wake me up if I snore." And they had to like keep waking me up throughout it. So the first time I saw it, I didn't know what the hell was going on. The second time, I actually got to rewatch it. Yeah, he didn't like it. Donut didn't like it. On second watch, though, man, I think I really, really like it. And I totally slept through the part where everyone.
You can talk right now. It's fine. Did I cut you out?
At the end, we find a whole bunch of these like ninja Jimmy Sevilles that are killing, like hunting down zombies. It comes completely out of left field.
All right, it's loud. I won't do it to everybody.
And the 28 days later and all of those, they're all like they're fast zombies, right?
Not into
This one
fast
they got
zombies.
fast
I'm not a
zombies,
runner.
though.
Neither. I think it's unrealistic.
It doesn't make any sense.
This one they have alpha zombies, which are like these huge jacked zombies that are twice the size of any other zombie, and they're smarter and they're more aggressive. They don't like they'll actually calculate where you might be hiding and like find like a back way into it instead of just kind of being stupid automatons.
Straight ahead.
This kind of sounds like the Ouroboros on Resident Evil and stuff, like the more evolved.
Did you guys hear that I Am
Zombies.
Legend is not about zombies at all, but about vampires?
They kind of seem vampiric.
And that like they changed little things in the movie, but it was actually supposed to be more vampiric, which
Well,
kind of
the original story was that I mean the humans were the bad guys in that movie, and that they were trying to help us. They weren't actually harming us, but that humans are so paranoid and reactionary that they just ended up trying to take them all out. But really, they were the good guys, and we were the bad guys in that scenario. That's not the way that they edited the movie. You would never get that, but that was the original story that it was based on. And I think there might even have been an alternate ending that expands on that original idea.
the World War Z zombies, don't like them either, where they're like ants all on top of each other and things. But that makes sense if you're going to have rage zombies like 28 Days Later, that they would ant like that.
I liked one of my favorite zombie movies besides Zombieland, because I did love that one, but it was Shaun of the Dead. Did you guys watch that one?
Yeah.
I thought it was
I like
great.
it. It's good. I thought 28 Days Later was good, and
It was.
I actually liked 28 Weeks Later more than most of my friends. I was
Yeah,
like,
I liked them
okay,
both.
whatever, I'll take a little bit of this. But 28 Days Later was really one of the great movies of the time that just happened to be a zombie movie.
Yeah.
It was shot great and different. It was like, to me, it really broke ground. Like, I felt like back then when it first came out, there was something like next level scary movie about it. Like, they
Yeah.
really took a turn in a way that I'm like, okay, I see you. I'm here for this.
I really started the zombie craze, wouldn't you say? I feel like
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy guy, that was like his first. That's the first time we saw him.
I think the zombie craze, didn't that start with Walking Dead, or did 28 Days Later come out before that?
Way
It came out
it.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years before it. I feel like.
Like we're still not over. The zombie craze is
Because
not
it was
even over yet.
no, it's not because it started with I want to say it started with the 28 days, and then the Resident Evil movie started coming out, and then the
28 Days Later was
Shaun of the Dead,
2002.
yeah, and then Zombieland.
I mean, my favorite one, I think, predates all those, even Resident Evil. It was Dead Alive, which was one of Peter Jackson's earlier movies, the guy that did Lord of the Rings. And I'm pretty sure that 28 years later, with the Jimmy Savills at the end, is paying homage to this guy that was in Dead Alive that said that he kicked ass for Christ, and he was like this decked out priest with like a big gold chain that was doing like ninja flips and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I lost my pen, or I'd write it down because I'm
telling
gonna
you,
tell you to text me that later so I can watch it.
A real thing we're gonna do. We are going to make a. This is a real thing that we're gonna do. We're gonna make some sort of version of the Blair Witch. Yeah. Like some
That'd be
version
awesome.
of this. We're gonna shoot it in Florida. We'll
The
have
nice
to
thing
make
is
a
it's low
small
budget. Yeah.
like, but I think that we can write a good enough script and figure out how to do this. And yeah, this is what I want to invest in.
This is gonna be fun.
Let's make a new scary movie.
Actually, me and Donut know someone that's trying to put something like this together, like a found footage style movie.
I like this idea. Would you? Okay, you could do a new Blair Witch style movie with phones. Because
there's a million. When I was doing some research for this potential movie that we had been talking about, I went and I watched as many found footage movies as I could, and a lot of them are all just being shot on iPhone now. A lot of them being shot just on webcam, where now it's like a Blair Witch, but all the video footage would just be like us podcasting and crazy things going on in the background, and that's the movie. They just got 90 minutes of that, and they ship it, and it's done.
I'm kind of into this idea, or even more so, which I'd like even more than this idea, would be to go make it shot in like 1996. So there wasn't fucking phones everywhere. I just think you end up in this whole different kind of scary place, or a place where cell phone service doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I would take like pretty quickly in my scary movie, the phones would come out of the equation.
They've got to.
Yeah, but I don't mind the cameras of them being there.
Yeah.
They just find the phones. Like
They just don't have a
these
signal.
Kids went
Yeah.
missing, and they found their phones here in the woods. There's like a map, where their phones are found, and then the shit that's on their phones. It'd be interesting. And one person has to survive.
Maybe they're geocaching.
I don't know if you guys saw this one. I've brought this one up before, but I met an actress that was in the Dashcam movie. If you haven't seen Dashcam and you like found footage horror, it is absolutely one of the best found footage movies. It's sort of QAnon meets Paranormal Activity, and if that sells you on it, like you should have already seen it by now. It stars Annie Hardy, who was in a group called Giant Drag, but she's super based. Like she would probably be at home here at Secret Society of Good Guys.
That's
I'm
awesome.
down. You can invite any weirdo to always come hang out with us. And I don't want to act in it. I'm a bad actress. I would rather film, be behind the scenes.
I love acting. I was the drama girl. I
was in drama. I know that I'm a bad actress. If it was a musical theater zombie movie, I would be great. But
yeah, I wasn't a musical girl, but I got the lead always. So,
but I think there is something here, and like an actual scary. It's been a while since I've seen like a scary movie, and it usually is those new kind of genres, like something weird where you're like, "Have you seen it?" No, you can watch it on Netflix or you can watch it on YouTube. What?
You know, I'm just thinking, like, because I had that thought too, because I saw the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think that's what it was, or it was
Yeah,
one of these like new remakes.
I
And
just saw the preview for that.
well, and I just realized that when I was younger, like some of that, like a strangers chasing you or body horror and stuff, it used to scare me, but now the thing that scares me is like, oh my god, I forgot to pay the mortgage. Like that would scare me so much more than some guy with a hook chasing me down at this point.
Yeah, you just made me go,
Oh
oh my god,
I
did I miss
forgot
my
to pay
car
the
payment?
mortgage.
Yeah, I just had one of those moments.
I think I just overdrafted my account. Like that's
Oh
that's
shit,
my
dude.
that's my horror movie now.
I
Or like I
know.
can't. The worst one too is like I can't remember where I parked my car. Like you could make a movie about that, and that would get me more on edge than any Freddy, Jason, fill in the blank.
That's me every time I walk out of the store. I'm like, okay, where did I park?
I
It's
know
bad.
I have this issue, so I do strange things ahead of time. Like when I'm walking from my car, I always have random pictures in my phone, all of different car parks, different things because I like to enjoy myself wherever I'm at. So much so that I want to unplug from the responsibility of having to know where my car is. I don't want to think C3 all day. And so I just take a picture of where my car is and then I become a complete child where you're like, what floor do we get off at? Chaney? We're at the airport. Pay attention. Like once I am where I need to be, I'm all business until I'm like I have all that information and then I'm like, fuck it, because if we're on vacation for a week, you think I'm going to remember where I parked when I get back? No.
No, God no.
So, yeah, I always take pictures of but all through Walmart parking lots. I'll get in and I'll be like, "Oh shit." Picture.
Kind of hurts to laugh.
I use my phone for that reason.
When we were talking about 20 Days Later, I was thinking of some other good movie in that era. Oh, did you guys watch Cabin Fever and what did you think of it?
Was Isaac Cappy in that movie?
Is this the one where they are like scaring people in like a government project?
No, it's a flesh-eating virus, and it's supposed to be shot like a B film, like they always call
I'm
the
thinking
B
Cabin
flick.
in the Woods. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, me too, I think.
yeah. No, it's called Cabin Fever, but it was great because the director wanted to capture the B flick vibe of the 80s, and he really did. And I don't know, I loved it. I thought it was like an amazing movie.
Ryder Strong's in it from Boy Meets World.
I'm sure I have. I think I've seen damn near every horror movie you could name.
I feel like you'd remember it just from one scene alone if you watched it.
I want to look up Isaac Cappy's IBMD.
I'd love to see a horror movie that actually scared me. It's been such a long time though.
The demonic ones are the best, I feel like. That's what scares me. That kind of stuff.
Cheesy. There was one that came out that everyone was like giving all this praise. Oh my god, it's such a great. I thought it was the cheesiest freaking movie. It was the one where the guy's in prison and he's getting interrogated and he's describing these like ancient biblical demons that are like working through him. Started with like a D or something, like demented or dementia or but I don't know. I just remember that one is like everyone was floored by it. And to me, it just felt like VeggieTales, the horror movie.
I don't know. I used to like to sit and watch USA Up All Night. Like, did you guys ever watch that?
With Billy Bob. What's his name?
I remembered USA Up All Night.
Yeah. There was some good
Judy
horror
Tenuta?
movies. For part of the time, it was Godric. Is that his name? No.
Thanks, loved one, and Riggs.
Gottfried
again.
And then the blonde. I don't remember her. Thank you.
You sweet. Thomas, there was a show on Amazon Prime about a flesh-eating hornet thawed out of Alaskan ice cream.
Okay. I mean, I'll watch them. I don't think I've gotten scared by any of them. Billy Bob Briggs. That's what I was going for. Yeah, Billy. Do you guys remember this one? This was on USA. at like
BBB.
10 to like midnight. Yeah. And
Big,
they would
Beautiful
cut
Billy
away.
Bob
They would be showing like Jason, and you'd see him pick up like an axe and swing it down on someone, like a machete, and swing it down on someone. And then they would cut to Joe Briggs, and he would just be like, they're stabbing him in the face. There's blood all over the place. And then they would cut back to the movie. He would just kind of like narrate the parts that they weren't allowed to show.
No. I was scared.
Yeah.
It's like I went through when I was really young, I liked the horror movies, and then I went through a time where they actually like gave me anxiety and I didn't watch them for a long time, and then just recently I'm like, "Oh, I can watch any horror movie. I love it."
Yeah.
I did have a big like at least a decade where I was like, I don't want to ever see that stuff.
That my second pregnancy, I would have like they were putting out all the serial killer movies. So they did Ted Bundy, like Ramirez, all of them. But then when they put out the John Wayne Gacy one, it just disturbed the shit out of me. And I would have those nightmares where you'd wake up and then you try to go back to sleep and you'd go right back into the nightmare. And it happened over and over and over again because that John Wayne Gacy movie, I had to take a big long break from horror films for a while.
Real quick, we're just gonna pop into this real quick here. I just had to check because I thought it was sold, but just in case, I don't know if I'm a huge Arizona fan, but yes, the Lisa Frank factory in Tucson, Arizona has been for sale for a
Ooh.
number of years. It's a 300,000 square foot building located on Lisa Frank Avenue. It was built in 1996 and closed in 2013. While Lisa Frank does some design work and has inventory on site, the main building has been vacant and the market, and initially $17 million is what she's asking for the price, but it's been empty for so long, you guys. We might be able to get it for a lot cheaper. Look at this thing.
So what are we going to offer?
I'd start at 1,700. Let them work us up from there.
Okay.
Like,
I'll throw down on that.
like inside of this, do you know how many like houses we could put inside 300,000 square feet? We could make
About
this
10,000, right?
we could make this a whole
This is going to be our
complex.
compound?
Yeah, I think.
Or rooms.
Yeah, it's already all closed in.
And we're all going to drink the Kool-Aid. Rainbow colored Kool-Aid.
I think this is where, and there's even little sections, like obviously the merch and stuff is cleared out, but there's like cool areas inside. I'm like, I'm in.
I think this would be a perfect place for you to like do all your comic book stuff, Thomas.
Yeah, like everything can go out of there.
But you got to move to Arizona.
That's the downside. Or we could just make one of those here in Florida. 17 million's a lot. Like, is it worth it? We don't even need 300,000 feet. We don't want that much. For our studio, for like our warehouse area, it doesn't have to be that big. And it would be cool if it was like we have one big piece of property and everybody has their own house on that property and you can walk to the warehouse. But 300,000 square feet.
We could get the job done with 20,000. Just as easy. Probably even better than 300,000.
I feel like Becky's in.
All right.
We would all thrive there. Don't
Let's
you
frickin'
see
go.
it, Thomas?
Because you need probably like 1,000 square foot to 1,500 square foot per person and their little areas. You would need like a 6,000 square foot studio area and probably another 6,000, 10,000 square foot for the warehouse intake outgoing. Like we could make this happen. I've worked in warehouses before.
And remember, like Lisa Frank. Remember, like the Fantasy Factory. We can have like, what's that kid on or that little old man? What was his name?
The Fantasy Factory.
Rob Deirdrick. Didn't he have the Fantasy Factory on MTV?
The skateboarder.
Yeah.
Rob Deirdrick.
Rob Deirdrick.
Deirdrick.
Yeah, I think he. Anyways, he had like that show Rob and Big. on.
Yeah, what about him?
Yeah,
What happened
like,
to him?
we can have a fantasy factory like that. I want pictures from inside. That's what I'm looking for.
We could
Inside.
just move into Alligator Alcatraz once they clear it out.
Once we're done with all the illegals.
There we go. I just want to already be like happy, like Lisa Frank Factory.
I know. There's something. Rob Dyrdek. Robin Big. All right, here. Let's take a tour. Peek inside Lisa Frank Factory. Lisa Frank Avenue. Love it. We'll change that to 66.6. Like we'll
change it to
we'll make
Anne
it
Frank
creepier.
Avenue.
Lisa Anne Frank Avenue.
Lisa Anne Frank, yeah.
Lisa Anne Frankenstein.
Yep, Lisa Anne Frankenstein. There we go.
The world of Lisa Frank. I don't want to go inside. Is that all it is? All right, we're going to watch this.
What a tour.
I know. I thought it was going to be better than that.
Lisa Frank makes the coolest stickers.
Oh, no, you aren't. Okay,
What?
here's inside the factory.
Ashley?
We're going to go inside the factory now.
This is the last thing you see.
Yeah, let's see if the voice.
Lisa Frank, and for everyone who wants to know if I do exist, I do exist. I'm a real person. We're in my office in Tucson, Arizona. What encompasses the world of Lisa Frank? That would first and
Polar
foremost
bears?
probably be
Or is that cat?
rainbows, and then hearts, music notes, teddy bears, unicorns, stars, color, fantasy, jewels, glints, everything to, that makes a kid happy, smile. When I was little, I was totally a girly girl. And I was
no, I want
to
to see around that factory. I don't want to see around it.
You don't want the documentary?
I want to see the part where they're like shoving the unicorn
we
into the wood
go.
chipper to make stickers out of.
I'm like, no, you guys, I've seen this before. Maybe this is the one, right? As
So I
Thomas
wonder
said,
if
unicorn.
the Lisa Frank Factory made the Squatty Potty because they have the unicorn poop logo.
Look at that alone in the yard's worth 17 million in my book.
Whoa.
What are we looking at? Is it like a dead
The
bird?
fuck?
Do you
No, it's
see
like
it? It's a metal
horse
unicorn.
unicorn.
But yeah, maybe horse. But just imagine Abbie with her new tits on the back of that for a photo shoot, and we put smoke
Yeah.
bombs underneath.
Oh, I so want to do a hot girl photo shoot at Lisa Frank Factory. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be hard to infiltrate this place. Just for a
This is-
photo shoot, not to like take it over.
We want to go inside. We want to go inside. Doesn't anyone have any pictures inside? I feel like I've seen pictures inside this thing. Visible through the front door. Look at that creepy panda just peering out. That's such bullshit, you guys. I'm going to find one.
Well, was that a big white polar bear
It looked like a panda.
or was that a cat? Okay. Oh, like at the beginning of that video? I was just thinking because we were talking about polar bears not being real and, that's up there with unicorns and stuff. So
I give up. Oh, here it is. This is. Nope, I give up. One time I remember seeing a tour of it, and it had like their whole kitchen set up, and it looked like, like you could have a chef come with a full crew and like be in this kitchen, and it had like office areas and work areas. I'm like, some of that I would leave, but most of it was just like trucks could back in, like warehouse space. That I'm like, that would all have to be built out.
doesn't it feel like that would be almost like a dream labyrinth where you keep going and going and can't find where you're trying to be?
You would definitely have to be like, okay, you guys, we're all going to get like, it would just be normal that we were all on hoverboards.
I was going to say, or like those scooters that are all around cities.
Or little golf
Electric
carts. Like we had
scooters.
super rad golf carts.
Yeah.
Lime scooters, that too. We could
That'd be so
personalize
fun.
them.
Hell yeah.
Like, this is what my goal is, you guys. You remember Waco? Think of how much cooler Waco would have been if we found out, like, inside, like, later on after the whole fire and FBI raid, and it was, like, pictures of them on hoverboards having races.
Fuck yes.
Like, think if it was totally insane in there where it's like, oh my gosh, look at, they have a painting of this one woman on a glass horse with her top off.
This looks like they were having a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I would just want it to be so ridiculous that like conspiracy theorists 30 years from after the invasion of the Lisa Frank factory would still be trying to decipher our clues.
Hell yeah.
Like there'd be new Manly P holes created by the weirdness that they found inside of our factory. And we never changed the name. She sues us to try to get us to change the name. Like she hates being associated with us because we become so weird
These damn
online.
Lisa Frankists. Yeah.
Yeah, we become a whole religion. We do a whole ghost town in the area, make a whole commerce. People are flying in. It's a big enough property that we could land planes there and helicopters without
Hell
even
yeah.
thinking twice about it. So it's like, essentially, we could just become Lisa Frankville. I mean,
sounds like
why
a
stop
great
at just
idea.
a cult? Look what Salt Lake City did.
I know.
They had to beat the U.S. military a couple times, though.
Well, what if we just become a sovereign nation like that little place in Nevada?
What little place in Nevada?
It's like, I just learned about this because I grew up in northern Nevada, and we, like, one of our rival schools is this town called Dayton, and right outside of Dayton, there's this, like, independent country, like one of those postage stamps countries. And I was like, I had to ask the people I knew, is this real? Because I found it online. Like, it's a real place. They have their own military and everything, but it's mostly just so the guy can sell postcards.
Huh. I'm into that too. Like look at Area 51. Nothing's around there, and everybody that goes there is always kind of disappointed of Roswell. Why isn't anyone leaning in? Like, we just have to go to one of these conspiracy places and become like we were talking about, you go to hikes in the middle of fucking nowhere. And at the hiking, like the trailhead, there'll be 1,000 people coming and going that day. And nobody has like, their last minute, whatever, your Band-Aid for your heel or your bottle of water. And nobody ever thinks, I should just have a little cart here. It's
Right.
like some things, it's like, that's how I feel about the Lisa Frank factory. Like, this is a perfect spot for a cult.
It
You know,
really is.
there's no foot traffic anywhere anymore, unless it's like a place that's getting people pushed to it because it's one of those huge outdoor malls now. But they just straight up set up a cart or like a little shop somewhere. It doesn't really work anymore. People would just have it like Amazon delivered to their hotel room instead.
That's why you have to have your, like, let's say you had like a Walgreens on wheels. You have like a mobile food truck, but it's like so people can walk in, you open it up, it's like you got the accoutrement of the day. I think you could pull right up into Yellowstone and you would outsell your cart before the sun came up. Like, or
Yeah.
any campground, essentially. I just
Yep.
don't understand why, like, mobile isn't a more lucrative, because people are like, oh, you got to get fucking permits. That pesky old permit. Guess what? You don't have to do that at Lisa Frankville. If you
Does
want to
the
come
ice
in,
cream man have a permit?
yeah, like we'll have a little section that will be like all fenced off outside of our property for the like civilians, that they can come and sell their stuff too. Like, we'll run a flea market that then we'll be like, okay, civilians, you can come to the Lisa Frankville too, like 2 days a week.
I like flea markets. Yeah, this is cool.
I'm telling you, this is
Swap
smart.
meet. Lisa
Yeah.
Frank swap meet.
We might just have to act like serious buyers. We'll have Layla call next Secret Society of Good Guys after she calls the White House. We'll act like serious buyers so we can get a tour, and then we'll take pictures of what we like, and then we'll just build that into our warehouse.
Yes. But maybe
I had
this
to-
is
I had
just
to
gonna
find-
happen.
What's gonna happen?
I said maybe it's just gonna happen. Maybe like money's gonna fall from the sky and we're just gonna buy the Lisa Frank factory. Just
Look at-
saying.
I
even
can think
Becky,
of some
she's
better
like,
ways to drop 17 million.
"My lease
I
is
know,
up."
right?
That's why we don't start. 17's way too high, but we might be able to just steal what we like. But then if we're like, oh, fuck it, we'll just go with a Lisa Frank aesthetic in one room of our huge warehouse. Like, we don't even need her warehouse. We're done. Look at our cults
Yep.
moved on. Good luck with that 17 million price tag, Lisa.
We'd be better off with 10 different 30,000 square warehouses spread out throughout the states.
Yeah.
Especially if you wanted to run like a really successful cult.
Own
Yeah, we gotta
some
go
major real
Scientology.
estate. Yeah.
Yeah, all successful cults are real estate shams, like McDonald's or the Queen of England. It's like Scientology. I do think we should think of old cruise boats and warehouses. Thomas is right.
Yeah.
I'm crossing Lisa.
Diversify. Spread out.
Well, yeah, it's just like the Mormons too. You want to have a few different places set up, so when you get too big for one state or one area, then you can just move all your members to another spot where that's already in operation, and there's less assimilation needed. Like you know what the rules and the culture are going to be in this completely different spot.
And it would kind of be crazy if you're like, it would give you a big, huge political pool, because if you had, like, let's say we build this thing, you guys, and really, if you're watching right now, you're in at the ground floor. If we build this thing out, then politically, we could just be like, guess we're all moving to Idaho for the next year. It's going to be a hard win for you, Mayor. Because our cult's immediately bigger than half of the town. So we swing the vote. But like we wait, I think this already might happen. You feel weird? You have an itch?
No, it feels like I did the, and then I was like, oh, it feels weird. I got boob
Is it
there.
a little numb?
It's
Still or
not,
not
no.
numb?
I thought I was gonna be numb, and I was worried I was gonna lose sensation in my nipples because it's like 28% of women do. Nope, I'm good. It just feels weird to have a big old bulge there. It's like,
Let's talk about your boob job for a minute.
Yeah, what's the maintenance plan like?
I can't really do anything for like 4 to 8 weeks. So
But do you go in like every 6 months and they like adjust fluids and?
no, I go in on Monday, and then I think around 10 days, and then I switch to a different type of bra, and then like 8 weeks I get to wear pretty bras. So you gotta kind of just wear whatever they tell you for a while. But and then
When's your next scheduled competition?
we're talking about maybe November, but maybe not till next spring. So we'll just see. Because obviously I'm not going to be in the gym for a couple months.
Well,
but they think this is going to be good because it'll actually make my upper body look smaller. Because
like proportion wise.
Yeah. Yep.
It won't give you that such a hard V of it just being in your shoulders. But yeah, I can see for competition, it adding shape to everything else, which will also make your waist smaller and your butt that much bigger. Like it proportion wise, I can see. In surgery, did you have anything weird that happened? Like we just talked about passing ourselves out and all that stuff, but
I was hoping so. I wanted it to be funny. I was wanting like to say weird shit and stuff, but no, the only thing that happened was they asked me like, where's your favorite place to visit? You know, as they put the little mask on or making me breathe and putting stuff in my IV. And I just thought it was the most stupid question because I was like, I don't know. And they're like, you don't know? I was like, I start laughing. They thought I was laughing because of drugs, but I'm just laughing because I'm like, no, that's like a dumb question. Like, they're like, what about the beach? And I said, well, yeah, I like going to the beach, but I used to live at the beach. It's not that, big of a deal to me. So anyway, and then I was out. So that was it.
So like she kept talking about the Medicis. We have no idea why.
I was so worried I'd be like confessing a whole bunch of shit I shouldn't be saying, That's my fear. Like, what the fuck did I tell them?
Honestly, that might also be a government operation. Imagine if the government was bugging dentist's office all across the country and getting blackmail on people that way. That seems like one of the easiest wins.
Right? Because I'm like, it almost feels like what truth serum me or something like that, where you just
Yeah. All of a sudden, the government's just like, look, dental plans covered. Anyone that needs a crown, it's already covered. And then you don't realize you're signing this fine print that's like you're going to be recorded, and they just dose you on truth serums.
That's kind of one of my fears.
The last time I'm so glad, but the last time I remember something fucking crazy was the last time I had the scopolamine patch put behind my ear. But the first time, apparently, because of how much my little conspiracy brain knew about the drug scopolamine, the true serum of it just made me true serum the drug as they told me about it. Like how quickly it worked. We're going to put this behind your ear. What is it? And as it's sitting there, oh, it's scopolamine. Oh, how quickly. It's just like, let me tell you everything about the drug scopolamine. Like I was the doctor telling the nurse. Like she didn't know that much about scopolamine. I was Summer. Like, you know, down in Brazil, the whores will blow scopolamine at people and just take them to their ATMs. Like Jules said, I went on and on. Like Jules said, she was like kind of so sad. Like she's scared. I'm about to go into a heavy surgery, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, this bitch
Chaney's
just
giving a
starts
lecture.
going on and on about scopolamine. And then the second time I got it, I was like, oh, they were like, do you remember all of us? We remember you. And I remember looking up at the light, like the surgical light. And I was like, I don't remember any of you guys. Apparently, I was chatty with them in there too. Who knows? I was telling them what did I tell them, and I was just like, the last time, all I remembered was them putting the scopolamine behind my ear, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have the scopolamine behind your ear?" And I was like, They're like, "Do you want scopolamine behind your ear?" And I was like,
I kind of liked it.
And then it was there for a minute. They asked me one question and don't remember any. And I'm sure I had shit going into my IVs as well.
Yeah.
But the scopolamine I think it must be an antidepressant too. Because it stays in your system for 2 days. Like it just makes you a little lighter as you come down off the getting put under. Because sometimes the getting put under is depressive. Like it does something as it comes out of my body where it's like I seem to puke and cry as that anesthesia leaves me.
That's what I got, some drug that I took like 3 hours before my surgery for nausea. So I'm glad I got that.
Am I quiet?
No,
Riggs
you sound
wants to
good.
know.
I hear you. Normal.
I think you just leaned back at one point, but you're fine.
Okay. Sorry about that. If you're one of the 280 something people that are watching us on Rumble, on Project Chaney YouTube, or the Secret Society of Good Guys X or YouTube channel, thank you. And if you feel like hitting any of the buttons, YouTube loves it. And so does Rumble.
And we love you for that.
And we love you for it. And thank you for anyone who sent us any currency this evening. We appreciate you. And we will work at getting Layla a new microphone.
Amen.
But something about it, I kind of like her microphone. There's something about the whole business of her touching.
I know that it wouldn't be right without the tap.
Yeah. Like, or sometimes it's on. Or
I've got a question.
Yeah. Hey, you guys. And there's something even like in the talking stick of it all that pink. Imagine if the light that turns on and the touch, it's like doing something in the Pavlov's dog that I'm like, Layla, talk.
Yeah.
It's like a good thing. Who's going to sleep? Now that I'm starting to pay attention. I don't know. Now that I'm looking over at the chat. Anyways, what else do you guys have going on this week?
I have no idea.
How long do you get to lay up, not go to work?
For however long I feel like. Because I really don't have to work.
Too, right?
Yeah, it's summer. Yeah.
Dude, when was the last time you took a summer off? I feel like part of the reason you used to work all the time was the same reason you went to the gym all the time. You're like, I gotta get out of this fucking house.
That's why I can't sit at home that long. I'm not a sit at home and do nothing kind of person. So, yeah. I can handle like 2 weeks tops. Like, I don't know how teachers take the whole summer off.
I told Jules, I'm like, if all goes well, because I'm really just planning. I just want all of you to know in my manifestation, I'm planning to be at UFC DC a year from now. And then I was like,
awesome.
Jules ordered her like Star Spangled Bikini. And she ordered 2 sizes and one of them is too big. And then when she wrote the company and was just like, hey, or like went to send it back and get the return stuff, they were like, keep it. So now she has 2 Star Spangled Bikinis. She's like, you could wear one. And I was like, oof, I'd have to do some work for a Star Spangled Bikini. And like Jules has a great body. So it's just like, oh, Star Spangled Bikini weather all the time. But I was like, if all goes well, I'll fly Abbie down for a few weeks and she can really set us up with like a personal training thing. And
we'll do this.
Yeah. I was like, I need to get a Stairmaster in my house.
I would like a Stairmaster in my house too.
Cardio's bullshit. I feel
It
like it's
is.
something I've learned from you. Like, you were the person that put the seed in my head over the years, and then as it's grown, and I just think of how many years I've spent doing pretty much cardio only, and how your muscles aren't really getting bigger, and so you're not
No.
burning any more calories.
And honestly, like, women have to worry so much about your bone density as you get older, and lifting weights is how you preserve your bone density and make your bones even stronger. So it's like it's a win-win-win-win. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn just sleeping.
Yeah, that's it's like a money in the bank.
Yep.
Isn't it like, ooh, you can eat that ice cream because you have all
It's
these more muscles burning calories.
It's the fountain
all
of
the
youth.
time.
Yep.
Muscles. Yeah, so who knows? It's going to be a good month.
It is.
Did you guys do fireworks today?
I did last week. They were going off all over here. I could hear them, but I didn't see any.
Yeah, they're going off downtown until at least 11 here.
I'm so southern that last night I had my earphones in doing a cast. I kept hearing boom, 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 boom. I was like, these motherfuckers. I thought they were really shooting gunshots outside. And I don't live in a trashy enough area where it should be that many gunshots that at a certain point I was like, what? Like, I almost felt like my dad. Like, what are those kids? I'm about to go. And I'm like, oh, it's 4th of July tomorrow. Fireworks in the South. Everyone's shooting them off.
Yeah.
Like, full
They go on for like
mortars.
2 weeks here, I swear.
I know, they're so excited.
Well, because what happens now is that all the fireworks are going to be on discount. So we're going to be hearing them for the next 2 or 3 weeks because everyone's buying up them at like half off.
I
Yeah, because they're so
fireworks.
expensive.
I like them. It's corny. It's some of the stuff I like about America.
I like the feeling that you get in your chest, like when they go off.
I like the smell.
Yeah, all of it.
And it
Just
usually is
Chinese
a good time.
chemicals.
It's kind of funny here. It usually is a good time. People are like, well, when are there fireworks and there's ever a bad time? And I'm like, sometimes around me, because I will like be sitting with people. We're all having a good time. And I'm like, can you imagine if we were in Iraq right now? And they were like, why'd you say that? And I'm like, sometimes I think that when I see
Bombs
fireworks.
bursting
Yeah, like they're
in
supposed
air.
to represent bombs or some kind of thing like battle.
Well, that's what it
And
sounded like tonight. I was like, it sounded like a war zone. It didn't,
That's
especially
what
because
it's
I couldn't
supposed to
see any
sound like.
fireworks. Yeah,
It's supposed to sound like that.
it does.
yeah, it really does. Like, it's kind of lost that a little bit. Like, we are kind of in the least, you were saying the least free time.
Yeah.
Like, but I kind of feel like this part too is one of the reasons, like, it's the least free time. I show you my old 80s calculator and I'm like, oh, let me, my phone. But it's like that, it's like having a tracking device in your pocket that you're constantly looking at every few seconds. Like, there is, if you're just like, look what a nice day it is outside. It's like something inside your grab for your phone, like a little addiction. It's like an addiction
It's a
put on
total
all
addiction.
of society.
Yeah.
Well, it was designed to be like that. I mean, there was another documentary I'd seen recently called General Magic, and General Magic was the name of this company that spawned off of Apple, and they're the ones that basically invented the first iPhone, but they were so early. This was in like the late 90s. They were so early to the game that the internet wasn't even like big enough yet. But they were describing when they were first had these prototypes, they were saying that whatever this device was going to be is, again, before the iPhone even came out, before the iPod even came out, but they were like, it needs to be a status symbol that feels like you having it feels the same as if you've got some really nice jewelry on. That they wanted the form factor and the touch of it to feel the comfort of a touchstone, the enchantment of a crystal. They had like all these different sort of classifications for it, and one of the main things was that once you bring it into your life, you won't ever want to live without it again. And this is with it being off, like regardless of the function that it has when it's on and connecting to the internet and all this. This is just like a thing that is going to feel so comfortable to have in your hand or in your pocket based on the dimensions and just the way that it feels in your hand, the weight of it. All this was like specifically made to be addictive. And this is like a claim that gets made, but here are the actual inventors of it reading their old notes that show exactly what the plan was. The plan was to make a thing that was so comforting to just have on you that the function would kind of follow the form.
It's so, I watched a video of, and it could be totally AI generated, but I feel like the concept's still the same regardless, of a woman that had a piece of plexiglass made. It was just like plexiglass, shaped like an iPhone. And people filmed her in an airport, like looking at it, and people thought she had the newest phone in the
I
world.
saw that. Yeah.
And really, she had such an addiction to her phone that she had made this piece of plexiglass to be the same weight and kind of like the clear thing to give her. So she realized it's like her body still did all the muscle memory of it, even though she no longer carried her phone. Like she got a flip phone and now kept it in her briefcase and never carried it anywhere on her the same.
It's like one of those things that people like they'll smoke like a piece of wood that has like a thing in it just to get over the muscle memory addiction of like putting something up to your mouth.
Exactly that, where she even like was realizing in situations she was in, she'd just be bored and pull out this piece of plexiglass and now just pretty much be looking at the situation she was in. But now she had this whole self-realization of like, and people can think she's silly, but it was like the realization this is what everybody's doing. Like there's nothing you're gaining, anything that couldn't be this piece of glass in the actual moment. Like how we've made every minute have to be filled with these type of things that don't matter at all. Like we were talking about how many times you might have pissed your pants in life, but only the sober time you remember.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like that with your phone a little bit. It's like, how many times have you needed your phone? Actually needed it. It's like we've all just kind of built our lives now in a way where the convenience of our phone always being there and everything that it does. But look at how we just all grew up and we didn't videotape or take pictures of fucking everything.
No. It's so weird just to be around like people who are like in their 20s and 30s because they've had their whole life on a phone. They could pull up pictures from when they were little kids and all that. And you're like, we can't. Ours were actual like photographs that had to go taken on 35mm film.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Back in the olden days.
But I did read a funny post where it was like, just be present at the fireworks. No one wants to see your fucking fireworks and no one's going to watch your video tomorrow. Just be fucking present.
Exactly. That drives me crazy because it's like we are all watching fireworks. Like it's not the same as when you can feel it in your chest. Like you have to feel it and hear it. And like, it's stupid.
You're never going to take a photo or video of fireworks. They're going to look nearly as good as you watching it right then.
Yeah.
Or where people like, you know, I do it sometimes where I'm like, no filter, the sunset. Like sometimes also be at the sunset.
Yeah.
Like just you there without your phone.
It's just there. Enjoy the moment because it's
like,
so beautiful.
Let me take a picture of this too and give it to the AI and now I can have it.
Yeah.
It feels like everything's that. Like how many people I see at a concert all with their phone in the air recording the show that I'm like, no one wants to watch. Whoever in the history goes through their phone and's like, you know what? I really need to see a concert from all the way at the nosebleed section. And look at how many same videos are of it. And it's like the artist sounds like, you're like, what's happening?
I even feel like at bodybuilding competitions, like you always want to film your friends and like you want somebody to film you, but you're watching it on your phone instead of watching it right there up on the stage. You're just like, it's just silly.
It is kind of weird. And they say people don't like the helplessness. It doesn't go into your memory in the same place the second you give it to your phone. Like the same way I told you, I just want to have fun. I take a picture of my car in the parking lot and then I don't have to remember it. That's how everybody is with everything. So look at sometimes I use Grok as almost like a troll because I already know what the like, hey Grok, like how many times have so-and-so voted yes on this kind of thing? You know, where people get on a like whatever. I use it more so like that, but the amount of like just ask Siri, just ask Alexa, just ask, and I'm like, gosh, we know how many numbers we used to remember. So if that's the learned helplessness of us, that you actually have to train yourself to know a number by heart right now, that if you were actually to get arrested, how many people could you call?
Well, usually only one.
Yeah, but who, like, you're like, fuck, the only number I remember is.
What? I wonder, can you call 911 for your one phone call?
Somebody call 911. Shorty's fire burning on the dance floor. Sorry, Nimrod.
Nimrod.
Nimrod moment.
Nimrod. I know. Speaking of, let's see what happened on July 5th in history. And why I do that, maybe the chat can think of somebody because you were talking about before we went on air celebrity deaths.
I don't know her name, but yeah, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner's 20-something-year-old bestie. I don't think that counts as a celebrity though. That's like a celebrity hanger on her.
But a weird part
Layla
about
sent
it,
us a few though.
a
A whole bunch died this week.
weird part about Sophia Hutchins is that her car was like one of those Anne Heche cars. Like where it
that's weird.
self-drove like into something.
But she was on a ATV, I thought.
Yeah, an ATV on a road where Caitlyn lives, where she struck the bumper of a moving car.
Weird.
That's a fast-going ATV.
Yeah, were you on public roadway too? Usually ATVs are on their own trail.
The impact forced the ATV over the shoulder. Hold on. And sending Sophia plummeting 350 feet down a ravine. Our sources say the first responder who reached Sophia pronounced her dead on the scene. 2 people in the car Sophia struck were not injured. It's unclear if Caitlyn was home at the time or if she witnessed the fatal collision. We've reached out to Caitlyn, but have not heard back.
Y'all, I killed Christian from Nip Tuck because I got my boobs done.
I don't know who that is.
He's one of the guys who died this week.
Look at that. Yeah. That guy used to be on Wheaties boxes. What was this?
That's so weird.
So crazy. Big up him. Big up his blood clot self. Or her. It's the 186th day of the year.
186. Oh, 187 is.
On the motherfucking clock.
Yeah.
Constantine Bridge built over. I want modern stuff. Elvis Presley. That's all right. Sorry. The 26th Amendment lowering voting count from 21 to 18.
Oh.
Iran-Contra affair.
Oh, Michael Madsen died, who was...
Oh, I knew there was another one.
He
from
was
Kill
in
Bill.
Reservoir Dogs and a whole bunch of other movies.
Mr.
Well, Kill
Blonde.
Bill, and then they're trying to do the Big Beautiful Bill this week. And what's his
Elon
name?
put out Kill Bill with that.
So they're trying to do some meme magic on the Big Beautiful Bill. And I got a text from Donald Trump yesterday saying, try to help make the Big Beautiful Bill happen or something. They're trying to stop it, Abbie. Help us.
Michael Madsen.
So just send me a little bit of money. It'll make all the difference.
You could be the one.
Mr. Blonde. I was typing in Mr. Blonde instead of Michael Madsen. Like it wasn't coming up and my brain starting to short circuit. He was found unresponsive in his home in Malibu, California on Thursday morning and pronounced dead. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department watch commander. He is believed to have died of natural causes. Wacky back.
Vaxxed.
Yeah, they do not suspect
That's
foul
what
play.
that's code for now.
Yeah.
Oh, newest commercial all over Hulu is like 45-year-olds and 48-year-olds can get the. Will you be in our ad for HPV vaccine? Like that's a new one. Again, it's all over it right now. So that was one that were only giving like 12-year-olds, 10 and 12-year-olds, and then now all of a sudden they're pushing it on people in their 40s.
I want to actually watch Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan. Like that's something I will put in my podcast zeitgeist in the back room somewhere. Did anyone watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
I
No.
usually like to, but no.
Did anyone eat a Nathan's hot dog today?
I have this week. I love Nathan's. They're so good.
I ate one today.
They're the best.
It was pretty bomb. I
Right?
grilled it.
I'm okay never eating a hot dog again, I think.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Do you like
I won't eat
professional?
most, but Nathan's I'll eat.
Do you like professional sports games? Like, do you go to like a basketball game?
Sports
or
ball? Not really. No.
Sports
sometimes
ball.
at certain arenas, like stadiums, I'll get like they have super long hot dogs, or they have a specific flavor, or they're cooked specific ways. But I'm trash that way.
I like corn dogs too, though. Corn dogs are so good.
It is
Like
trash.
bear food. Oh my gosh.
It's just literally assholes and lips.
Yeah, I'm such trash that way. I'll even tell you one worse. I think like if I could have any hot dog, I would actually get the trashiest hot dog, which is the fake cheese in the middle.
Oh yeah, I like the
Like
Oscar Mayer ones with the cheese in it. Yeah.
like full poison stuff.
No
I didn't get that
judgment.
today.
Because I think that the trashiest of hot dogs is the closest that we will ever get to using all the parts of the buffalo that we like. You tend to
Yeah.
venerate the Native Americans for. Like this is our version of that, is eating beef and chicken asshole.
And then the Hispanic version is chorizo because it
Yeah.
is like literally says like lymph nodes and all that crap. Like, oh my gosh. First time I read the ingredients, I
Yeah,
love
some
chorizo.
deep fried
I
lymph
love
Made me sick.
nodes.
chorizo.
Yeah.
I used to have a homegirl at, well, I don't know if she ever knew it was her nickname, but we used to call her Chorizo. Oh, shit. That's so funny. Blast from the past. That was lifetimes ago. Yeah, I did hear that Spaceballs was coming out, a new Spaceballs. I also heard that this is so corny, Church of Hollywood shit. And so geeky. The entire original cast of The Devil Loves Prada has signed on to do another one.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's one of those weird movies that whenever it comes on, I'm like, I'll totally watch The Devil Loves Prada.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, you guys have anything fun going on this week?
I just dropped a new playset today, the America Fuck Yeah playset, and I will have the Illuminati Dolphin playset. I think there's like 8 left. I'll have those up on the site probably next week, this coming week. And then finally, maybe a week after that, I'll have the rest of the Illuminati comic VHS boxes. Everyone's been asking about them. So in the next 2 weeks, I think I'll have 30 or so left. So it'll be first come, sort of situation.
I like
Awesome.
how just the weird is we just talk about whatever the fuck we want here. That just corn dogs in the air fryer. Like, because now he's like, I love corn dogs. And then I'm like, I'm not a corn dog fan, or I used to not be, but corn dogs in the air fryer kind of sound good.
That does sound good.
You can't put a corn dog in an air
Mustard?
fryer unless it's been in a regular fryer first, though. Like a corn dog in an air fryer is reheating a corn dog, isn't it?
Well, so
I've
is
never made a
microwave.
corn dog from scratch. Have you guys?
Oh God, no. But like but they're good at the fair when you see them dip them and do it.
Yeah,
like
you dip
that.
it in batter and you deep fry it, but you
Yeah,
can't
now
dip
I'm
something in
thinking-
batter and put it in an air fryer.
Yeah, now I'm just thinking in general, like, why am I not making my own corn dogs?
I know, it sounds good.
Yeah, like
It can't be
what?
hard. It's like what, cornmeal and
Dude,
flour.
I
and
haven't had a corn dog for 20 years. But I like
love corn
cornbread
dogs.
now. I used to not.
I love cornbread too.
Cornbread's good as shit. Cornbread's one of those weird things
Oh
you
my
have in your
gosh.
house that you end up pinching corners off until you eat a
Yeah.
pan of it.
I hated it growing up too, but I don't know. Something happened at some point and it became like bussin'.
I didn't
So
want
good.
no corn in my bread when I was a kid. It seemed
was
weird.
gritty.
But then
Yeah.
somewhere in life, all of a sudden, you're like, cornbread's sweet as shit.
Yeah. And the honey butter on it. Oof.
Cinnamon.
So good. Yep.
Cornbread. We're going to go through a cornbread phase tomorrow. I had hard-boiled
Cornbread.
eggs today. I
Okay.
had bomb-ass potato salad.
That sounds
Real
good.
Americana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm gonna LARP. I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna be like Clark Griswold at Christmas time with lights on my roof.
Maybe I need to too, because I got to go back on my diet at some point, but I'm not on it right now.
I'm not.
Some
I
hot
haven't.
dogs and some cornbread. That doesn't go together very well, but why not?
I like that.
And some potato salad.
There's the whole thing, you know, that nigga gay, where it's like, that nigga gay, nigga gay. If you guys don't know about it, it's done to Bill Withers' A Beautiful Day. And it's like something that probably 4 years ago was like a trend on TikTok, but it would always come across my feed where like one guy would catch his friend eating a hot dog. And then they would play that song afterward. I'm going to have to find one now to show you guys. But then somewhere in between that time and it's like the glizzy. Like hot dogs are always called glizzies now.
Yeah.
Which makes me laugh. Let's see.
I saw this video of like what men can't swing after a certain age, and it was a black guy, and he's like, "Let's test this out." So he sets his phone down, he hops up on the swing. It looks gay as hell, so he hops off. He's like, "Oh no!" And then he adjusts his camera. He's like, "Try it again." Jumps back up. I was like, "Oh fuck this!" Like, I laughed so hard because it was. I was like, "Men can't swing. It looks so gay." I mean, he tried just keeping his legs straight. Oh.
That is so
great.
funny. But swings like, wee!
Because you kind of like bend, you bend your legs back and everything. It just looks so funny.
So annoying to get into TikTok.
Yeah, I would say hot dog, real raw. You can never get caught glizzy gobbling when it's like one of those foods. It's ice cream cones and hot dogs. Like everyone's eating them, but if someone sees you eating it, then it's like awkward. Like someone catches you mid lick into an ice cream cone. It's like awkward.
This is me trying to get on. I'm trying to show you guys a TikTok video. Oh man. What could I have violated too? Jeez. Let me see if I can find. Let's see if Google will give me glizzy gay.
I don't know, but my Instagram, I guess when people like search it up, it gives everybody a 16 and older. You have to be 16 or older to view this account.
Because you're always naked online?
Yeah, pretty much. But I didn't know it was there.
Let's see. Here's an example. Oh, shit.
I feel like
I didn't even know this was in your ballpark, Frank. It's gonna
hold on. Let's see.
Be hard to live down. I tell you that, boy.
I'm tired of the bullshit.
Diabolical work found. I didn't even know this was in your ballpark, Frank. It's gonna be hard to live down. I tell you that, boy. You out there at nighttime. It's darker than suicidal thoughts. You in the car, mouth agape. Dual wielding wieners, bro. Akimbo's Oscar Myers. No music, no AC, no condiments, no beverage, just love for the game. It's almost respectable, bro. Almost. You cook.
Motherfucker, I'm the king. Bitch ass nigga, what you mean?
I don't know where it went to, you guys. But I didn't mind it. I was like getting in trouble on YouTube late at night.
May as well.
Yeah. Anyways, that's one. I hope it comes across all your guys' algorithm now. But if not, or you can send me a video catching one of your guy friends down in a glizzy in front of the boys. I wish I could find the Bill Withers song, though. So what else? You plugging anything this week, Thomas?
That's mostly the new play sets are the biggest thing I got coming out. I got the Under the Dock series is still going. This month is Alex Jones month. So on Tuesdays at about 3:30 Eastern, we're releasing reviews of old Alex Jones documentaries. Last week we did Police State 2000. This week we're going to be doing Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove, which is probably my all-time favorite Alex Jones documentary. So make sure to come and hang out in the live chat on that one on this Tuesday at 3:30.
That's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You doing anything this week, Abbie?
I'm not.
Just
I don't
chilling.
think so. Maybe.
Just chilling. Well, maybe
Yeah,
we'll hang out.
nothing interesting.
Maybe we'll hang out. If Layla gets a weird day off this week, maybe we should just do an impromptu daytime episode of
That'd be fun.
SSGG.
Glizzy edition.
Glizzy
yeah.
edition. Daytime glizzy.
I'll eat some hot
Daytime deep
dogs.
throating glizzies.
Sounds good.
Like, so if Layla's off this week, we'll send her a text, and so maybe you guys can look out for that, and maybe we'll do a daytime edition of SSGG. Could be fun.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
Might be
I'm
a
down.
party.
Might be a party. Maybe Thomas will do some whippets on air. Maybe I'll take a mushroom gummy.
There we go.
But that takes like 2 hours to kick in.
I know. Yeah, we'll just watch you do a whippet on air. I'll drink
Okay.
I don't even want. I'll roll a big fat blunt. Layla will smoke some wax.
I'll just
It
take
just sounds like a normal
pill
day to me
after
so
that,
far.
too.
Yeah, and Abbie will just take a pain pill. And we'll just all hang out. So, anyways, you guys, thank you so much. We love you. Sorry to leave on such a low energy. I feel like it just zapped me. And I'm like, oh, what else are you guys doing this week? Anyways.
I know.
Yeah. I love
Pop,
you.
pop, 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 pop.
Brap, brap, brap. Here, this'll Wagwan, big up yourself.
Bombaclot.
Bumbaclot. We love you. Send us your interesting Lisa Frank digs.
Hell yeah.
And make sure you turn it down because Juliette Lewis be coming hard. Okay. See you when we see ya. Bye bye.
Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, clones, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, clones, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.